Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the class called Lessons for Full Spectrum Humans. Today is October 17th. Ordinarily, I have a syllabus that I follow in this class where there are recorded lessons, like this is lesson 16 would be going on this week, and then give a live presentation in relationship to that lesson. And every semester, I'm always very serious, and I say, I'm not going to diverge from the syllabus. And I get to a certain point where I just have to do it. But this time, it's for really, really good reason. It's really time. Last week, I spoke about what I call the energetic weather report, and I can't even couch it in that type of language anymore. It is right now time to talk about the ongoing spiritual battle that we find ourselves within. And I direct this information really to the people that have already been connected to me, like in this class, in telepathic rapport, in watching these videos, people who already know me and know my truthfulness, my integrity, that I don't have to. So that in this class, also in this presentation today, I would like a little bit of freedom with my language. I might use shocking language, so maybe this isn't the best introductory lasagna teaching for the whole family, because I usually try to keep it family friendly. I might use I'm going to be for real language, and also might talk about concepts that might be challenging to a very young person. And also, I literally have just been learning about these things through my own insight. And usually I take a long time to digest and paint paintings about it. It could take a long time. And then I'm finally like, here's the painting and here's what this is all about. Like, it takes time to figure something out. And this is me sharing something that's a very new, like a very, raw, uncut thing that I just really need to share with you. And my job, like I was talking a little bit in the intro on Facebook, is that my job as an artist, like artist's job is to see stuff and then paint it for other people, right? Or sculpt it for other people. You can see a flower, you paint a painting of it. And that's what it looked like. And what I do is I see an inner reality, soon to be an outer reality, an everything reality. I see this higher dimensional space, and I paint it as accurately as I can. And the information is usually non-verbal, like a non-linguistic type of language. And I feel really comfortable like in those abstract zones and sharing that level of information with this class. And so the things that I'm sharing today are much more personal in terms of inner vision and much more on the anthropomorphic level. So I recognize that there is much more room for distortion. Like, I know blue is blue and magenta is magenta. Like, I know the proportions and the harmonic stuff. That's why I feel comfortable teaching and sharing that with this class. This is information that's so new and viewpoint that is so new that I've not had all the time that I need to properly internalize and assess it on my own. So let me just share this stuff with you and have this be, instead of like, I'm a teacher and you're the class, have it be like, let's all just have a conversation, because Eleanor, from the comment before we even got this started, has confirmed that I understand this is something that is affecting all of us. And I don't think that it is appropriate for me to place myself in the role of, I am a professor and I know what is going on, and you guys are all the students. I'm going to tell you all, no, I actually do not know what is going on. So that is my best approach here. And I have lots of drawings that I want to share with you. Like, I actually have my physical sketchbook, but instead of holding that up to the camera, I will just try to use the cumbersome thing. I will do the thing, because mostly I learn through pictures. And so what I have to share, I'm going to draw it like pictures, but I have to narrate it and tell you what it is. And all this information, I might be very nonlinear and jump around again. Like, this is very raw and uncut. I'm just reading some of these comments here before I get going. Okay, interesting. So, basically what I think I experienced was a false ascension. And before I go into the events of that, I wanted to share with you some information. One is about the actual shape of, like, I've been very, hold on, do one thing at a time. I want to get this thing so that I can draw. That little yellow, it's taking a long time. There we go. That little yellow sculpture, wait, show my face. That little yellow sculpture that I hold up all the time, that has that convergence point. Well, let's pretend I'm zooming in on that so that you're really looking at it. And let's look at what the anatomy of the singularity is. So let's say here's, let me keep a fatter line. Can I make fatter lines, please? Let's say this is the singularity, the place where all of those timelines converge. And, we have the four different time vortices, even though I usually just draw one. Let's say this is a super zoomed in version of one of the ascension pathways. This one would be going in this direction, okay? So we're super zoomed in at this scale. That's why I'm drawing these very fat kind of timelines. And this would be the very top of the time, like, okay, guys, just so much easier for me to say this. We are right now zooming in anatomically over here, and what I just drew was the very, very top of this central core timeline that usually I draw as an infinite loop like that, okay? That is the very, very top of the time vortex there. So that one was the lifeline that was coming up from there.
You're not sharing your screen.
Are we having technological gremlins? I swear to you guys, I pressed share. It was supposed to go to the whiteboard. Thank you. Come on, technology, work for us. Let it happen. I'm pressing share. Good, okay. So guys, can you, and I can't see the chat, so thank you for doing audio. Can you confirm to me if you can see my little drawing?
Can't see it yet.
What a bunch of bollocks.
It's weird because it says that you're sharing, but it's just a black screen.
Well, that's a bunch of naughtiness. Haven't even started using my swear words for today. I'm going to show you my pencil drawing, okay? Nothing will stop us today. Let's sing a song. Nothing's gonna stop us. We're gonna keep on going. Wait a second. I might turn my piano down too. I'm about to lean on top of this and make extremely loud music for you. Okay, guys, this is the anatomical, like zoomed in section. And you can see we have 4 of these that are the 4 lines that would be considered path of least likelihood ascension timelines, or the timeline that you want to be on. In this drawing, there are no like pathways that lead to death. But then we also have all of these areas here are membranes of death, and I've drawn them very fat, right? So the only place where both the ascension timelines and the membranes of death timelines coincide is at that convergence point at the singularity. So I spoke to you in previous classes where I talked to you about how I'm a walk-in and how the previous occupant of this body had died and how it was like taking a slanty direction of trajectory, and through willpower writing it and making it go so that it's going up the trajectory instead of hitting membrane of death. And what I started to understand through examining this through inner vision is that there is a place where the membrane of death and the ascension timelines meet. So last week, guys, I was first of all, we're talking about the waves of consciousness that I liken to birth contractions, birth of a new dimension. Show you the painting. Let's see if I can show you guys a painting. I hope that's going to be a non-issue. I have extensive paintings prepared for you today. Oh, wait. I think I have just solved the problem. Can you guys see my screen? Wait, do I have to press a button? Hold on, I got it. Okay, wait. I have to click a thing. Click a thing? No. What do I want to do? Later? I don't know if I want to press later or do this now. No, I don't want anything. Okay, I don't know what's going on with that, but now I'm going to wait. I had to click a thing. Okay, let's go back and click a thing and see if it works, guys. Is this a hallelujah moment? Are things working?
Yes.
Hallelujah! All right, great, fantastic. This is the painting called Birth of a New Dimension. And it is, this painting, I misspoke. It's called Birth of the Flying Rainbow Lasagna. And it is a study for this larger panel that I don't know if I've shown in this class, but I'll show it again, where you can see this area where I'm wiggling my cursor is exactly like the smaller study, but there's other things happening too. So the study is called Birth of the Flying Rainbow Lasagna, and the larger panel is Birth of a New Dimension. And I bring this forward because I don't want anyone to misinterpret the visual language that I'm using here, because you see all of these what can only be considered as faces, like the symbolic representation of otherworldly beings or alien creatures or supernatural creatures. I don't want any of you to falsely presume that this means that those guys are powering this. No, this is all about the sun and the earth and humanity, or let's say occupants of time, those of us who live on the planet, because this also includes plants and animals. I need to drink a lot. Thank you. So in looking at this painting, maybe I can make it a little bit bigger too. You can see, hey, there's the earth splitting apart, and you can see these dots that make up the magnetosphere that is ordinarily shaped like a donut or a torus. And in this case, I'm using visual language to show it's transforming into flying rainbow lasagna shape. I don't want you guys to think that this is like, oh, a bunch of space aliens are hovering around Earth, waving their magic wand and poof, making it happen. That is not what is going on here. So being really, really clear with that, this is about natural processes that are at work in terms of consciousness or light. And let's start using those two terms interchangeably. Light is self-intelligent. I tell you all the time, stars are not just stupid things emitting dead, stupid photons. Each photon is alive. And if you want to think of or believe in angels, think of photons as angels. And photons know exactly where to go. They don't need anyone to help them on their journey. So this is all part of me being very clear as a communicator. What is Ascension? What is the experience of Ascension? What are we experiencing? Because I think that I just experienced soft rollout of false ascension. So drinking. I live in Southern California. In Northern California, they had intentional shutdown of power grid from PG&E in order to prevent the sparking of fires ostensibly. All of this is to explain to humans who have cloaked vision, who aren't allowed to see what is really going on, that there's a literal war, like the type of war where things get, exploded or destroyed or, whatever, incinerated, that is literally what is going on right now. So let me just say a little bit more of events that I experienced. I know I'm going to be like very nonlinear in how I say this. So last week we had class on Thursday, and I spoke to you about some of the incoming waves of consciousness and what it made me feel like and how I felt like I was looking down the time tunnel. So first of all, that hallway where all of the different vortices met, where you could have all of the occupants of the hotel come out into the hallway and talk to each other, that would be considered the singularity. So in terms of experience, what is happening when you feel those waves coming through is we are approaching the singularity. But in this class, when I talk about singularity, I'm talking about that convergence point of all timelines and origin and destination of consciousness. Science and objective materialists of this world use the word singularity to also denote the time when transhumanism would be a reality, where it would be the merging together of humanity and some, or biological humanity and some form of technology. And many of these are like technology worshiping kind of people, where they think it would make it into some kind of ubermensch, like a Superman, like a literally Superman, even better than your current self. Like that is how they think, like smarter, faster, like the Bionic Man. That's what I'm going for. I don't know the theme song, but like the Bionic Man, that is what they thought it could be. And that is totally not how, oh, hello, so good to see you, Eleanor. So yeah, I'm just, because you're just tuning in, I'm totally diverging from the syllabus and just talking about my personal experience. And I've been sharing some of my personal experience with some people who are friends. And so also I want to clarify, so I've been saying birth of a new dimension is ongoing. We've been having this class kind of like your mama's training class, like when you feel this, do this, like puff, puff, breathe, right? Like, do your thing. And that's like the flying rainbow lasagna. I'm telling everyone, this is what you do. You dance your way through these energy waves. And then I've been telling you, okay, the waves are coming. The waves are getting closer and closer together. So that's, last Thursday, I was talking about how the waves were getting very close together and people shared their own individual experiences. And I think it's important to compare, because I think that there's a very natural consciousness unfoldment that is happening, and then there is an artificially, technologically controlled aspect or overlay to it. And I think that we can help each other, or that it could be helpful to share honestly with what each person is experiencing from their viewpoint. Because I don't know if people are experiencing the same thing as I am, or I don't know if the same frequencies are being deployed in the same areas or against the same people. And I know that I talked to you guys about my recent visit to a nearby city where I felt that the frequency there was so assaultive, like hurting my teeth, assault, and like it was so bad I couldn't even be in there. All of this is part of this war that has been literally hidden from humanity's eyes. So I felt strong waves on Friday, and then on Saturday, I could only describe what I experienced as something that felt, I thought that it felt like an ascension. And when I talk about this, I will also assure you that none of my experiences came from the ingesting of a particular substance. And I have a rational skeptic inside of my intellect, as everybody does, where when you start to have an experience, you think like, why am I having this experience? Like, why am I feeling so good? Like, did I just eat or drink something? Like, is it because I took something? Is it because of that? So as those waves have been coming through, because you guys know that I take cannabis medicine, right, in order to control seizures. Well, one good thing that I can report, and I don't usually share my health stuff, which I consider to be very private stuff, but over the past month or so, I've been experiencing really wonderful, profound levels of healing that, you know, would be considered like medically impossible. And to the point where I used to not be able to sleep effectively. I would have nocturnal seizures and other convulsive seizures at night, and I had to have THC or some kind of, you know, medicine that helped me to sleep. And as recently as July, when I experimented with something like, you know, going without or going on half dose, it was not effective. I still needed it. But in the past few weeks, I've been able to sleep effectively without having to take any THC. So I'm really only using CBD during the day in order to control seizures, and drinking raw cannabis juice. And both of those are not psychedelic. Like, I'm bringing this to you really honestly because I just want everyone to know, like, this was not because I took or did something unusual. And it was also like, you know, I started to examine, like, I was like, you trying to, why am I feeling this way? So sometimes I would feel so good that I felt almost as if I were high, but without the side effects or incapacitation that can sometimes come with that. On Saturday, I felt like I was tripping, but not yet at the level of pure abstraction. So let me describe more. And also, without side effects, without limitations. There was no mental confusion. I didn't have any difficulty processing my thoughts or moving my physical body. And even to the point, like, I usually have challenges moving my physical body in terms of neurological, you know, degeneration or whatever. I felt really wonderful and good and healthy. So I also did not feel hungry or thirsty. So here's what happened. I was just outside in my backyard as naturally as I possibly could be. Like, in that, so I will tell you this, here's the reportage. My mental state changed greatly. And it was a bright, bright, bright sunny day. But when I went outside, it did not feel hot to me at all. I did not feel like my skin was burning. I didn't feel like, usually in Southern California, I wear a giant hat when I walk around. I feel like it's a very bright sunlight. The sunlight felt very gentle and nourishing to me. And all I wanted to do was expose my skin to it fully. And like, actually, like, you know, put on like some nice jojoba oil, like some nice, like, moisturizing, like, good, healthy skin oil. And I had zero interest at all in doing anything that had to do with technology. I did not have an interest in writing an email to anyone else to tell them what's going on. Even after the fact, I did return to my computer and, you know, write things. And I was like, I'm hyper responsible. Like, I recognize, like, I got t-shirt orders, things like that from my Etsy shop. Like, I ask forgiveness for everyone. I love that you support me in my work, but I'm doing my online shop. The inner changes that I have been experiencing have been subsuming the mundane tasks of, they did not seem like they were it felt very important to focus on the things that were the most important things. And it felt like technology was not a real and important thing. So I don't mean to say like US customers aren't important or your orders aren't important. Like I'm trying to say like, what did it feel like in that mental state? That's it. My mental state changed greatly. But technology seemed like the most boring, stupid thing in the world to me. And putting through my wholesale orders seemed like the most stupid, inconsequential task in the world. Like what made a lot more sense was like talking to a tree. And all of this, again, was without ingesting anything. And I felt a great need to be just touching the earth and just be in nature and just be like in my backyard away from everything. Oh my goodness, my prophet Elijah has arrived. I joke about that. The door is fully closed and was locked. So I was sitting in my backyard, and you guys know tendril of attention, right? Tendril of attention. So first of all, I started to feel extremely good. This is the reportage that I say this is like tripping. So here's the thing. Tripping on psychedelics is supposed to be like the trampoline training ground for you to actually fly, right? Like your aeronautics before you actually jump off and fly. The problem, and it might have been that way in an ancient time, the problem is all of those molecules and all of those realms have been heavily infested with parasites. So it's like you think you're going to go to the consciousness gym, you're going to jump on the trampolines, you're going to get really, really in shape and be ready, and instead you get fatter and more out of shape. Because you got parasites, and parasites drain your energy, make it fatter and more out of shape. And the problem is everyone's like, hey, I'm going to the gym, I'm working out. Why am I getting fatter and more out of shape? I must go work out more. So they keep jumping on the trampoline at the psychedelic gym. It doesn't actually help. It just gives you more parasites. That's not cool, but that's just the way it is, all right? So when I'm describing these feelings, even though I might use slang, trying to get through to you of what this is, that is the miniature training wheels version of consciousness elevating naturally. We are supposed to be experiencing consciousness elevating naturally. So I'm saying to you, like, it is not time for you to like take your mushroom capsules. It is not time for you to take LSD right now. You don't need training wheels for this. That's the worst thing you can do right now is be like, great, like I'm going to lug my training wheels around. No, you don't want that. Those experiences were supposed to give you the muscle power to be able to withstand what is going on. So I started to notice that my consciousness would rise in the sense of like I would start to feel more and more naturally elated, and then there might be a blockade, like a thought or some feeling of like energy being pulled away, and I had to be like, hey, wait, like don't take my energy. I want to keep on going, rising higher. And so in those experiences, I was being fed with real light. So again, the biggest emphasis I can give today in this presentation is that the sun and the stars are alive, and the light that they emit is a food, and the food is intelligent, and you need to eat it. You need to eat intelligence. So when people artificially open their inner eye and they eat parasite, wormy, maggot-infested food, they're not eating intelligence. They're eating some partial nutrition and a lot of fucking lies. And that is not good, and that does not help them in their journey. That does not help anybody to do that. So the light that is coming to our planet has been blocked out. Now my stupid thing will work, and now we will go. Let's draw a picture of what's been happening on this planet. Wait, I'm going to clear all this out and start. Clear it all out. What's been happening on this planet? I have to choose the right color before I rant. You can tell I'm ranting. Here's the Earth. Here's the planet, right? And all of us, it was to draw a collective human. That's us with a slightly flat head trying to live on Earth. And then here's the sun. And the sun is emitting all this amazing light, and it's so much light. Just let me get giant fat lines. It's this much light. It's like this much light. It's a lot of light. It's a lot of light. It's a lot of light. Only there's a problem. There's a big fat barrier that is coming between us and the sun. And I'll describe to you in detail what that barrier is. It is basically technological using space races, but even more sophisticated than the ones that I usually describe as satanic, right? I use the word satanic, and I say those are, just collectively all of the non-terrestrial species that use technology. They have to use technology as a compensatory mode. There are some beings who became slightly more sophisticated or slightly more civilized or refined than the beings who are just like very rampant and very evil. And they're like, oh, no, we're not quite as evil. We're only moderately evil. We still use technology, but we're really good guys. These are all the guys that have been presenting themselves to you through YouTube bloggers and various frauds and various conferences as your friends. These are the quote-unquote Pleiadians and the quote-unquote Arcturians and the Andromedans. Basically, you are supposed to talk directly to stars. You are not supposed to talk to the inhabitants of planets that circulate around stars. And the ones that are the ones that's what I'm using this brown color for. These guys live on a planet and they circulate around a star. They are not stars themselves, and they place themselves here as some kind of intermediaries. And they say to you this: you are not actually sophisticated enough to get all of this light down to you. No. Oh no, I clutch my pearls. I drop my opera glasses. Light come to you? Ah ha ha ha. I laugh and drink champagne. No, I will allow through this much light to you. Wait, no, I need a skinnier line. I will allow through to you this much light, and as I send it to you, I will say, I am so benevolent, I am your friend, I'm bringing you technology that's going to set you free, 0 point energy, I'm overacting for a reason, and I portray myself as angels. I'm not a fucking angel, I'm a fucking devil in disguise. That is what is going on. So what those beings that I just described, let's use the word paternalistic. What is the word paternalistic mean, class? I'm joking because this is not a class situation. What does it mean, everyone? It means someone who thinks of themselves as the big daddy. Big daddy says, I run the household finances. I'll take all of this money and I'll dole out to you a little allowance that you can have a little skinny allowance. Here's $5, babe. Go buy yourself something special. That is what these evil assholes are doing to your planet right now. And the reason why I can tell you this and why I've been able to see all of this, they turned down the mind control grid just a little. What I experienced on Saturday and Sunday, there were incoming waves. So let's say, guys, wait, can I erase? Pardon me, this is like the hardest technology to work with. Oh my God, things worked. You can erase the fucking assholes who paternalistically want to dole out the ascension to you. This is how much light is supposed to be coming to your planet. Oh wait, no, stop. Wait, that's not what I want. I don't want to erase Earth. Earth, come back. I want you to draw how much light is coming to your planet. This is how much light would be coming to your planet. And those red scribbles represent intelligence and food and good feelings and elation. It's all of the stuff that gets eaten away by the harvesters, by the ones that want to eat your soul, your consciousness, your joy, whatever you want to call it. Again, you're allowing me to be loosey-goosey with my language here. By the ones that have been trying to consume you and this planet on an energetic frequency level. Those pesky occupiers of the interstices, right? Drink water, collect my thoughts. These paternalistic assholes, wait, let's rewind. This is what should be happening. The Earth bathed in light. At this point, Earth bathed in light is what is supposed to be happening, but let's rewind to a big fat thing that ain't supposed to be there. It's blocking out all of the real light from the real ascension, the real consciousness raising that is going on right now. And these paternalistic assholes are doling out little tiny crumbs to humanity. And how are they doing this? So first of all, the big black mark there is frequency that is blockading us here, inhabitants of Earth, from receiving the light that is intelligent, beautiful, nourishing light that has been coming from our sun for many, many years. This has been a long-term technological project to block out that light and that consciousness. So we've talked about this a lot. It's not just chemtrails. It's not just 5G or Wi-Fi. It's not just the electrical grid. So wait, let me drink. I know I'm getting so excited here. So in the moments that I felt these ascension waves, and I'm in my backyard, peacefully sitting in the sun, what do I tell everybody in class all the time? This is your attention. It's like a finger. You can taste things with it. You can attenuate with it. And I attenuated to the electrical lines that were going through my backyard. And I sensed that the electricity was very different than it was ever in the past. That in the past, the physical electrical lines, let's say this is a high tension power line, and let's say, yes, it carries, here's electricity that makes your electrons flow in a wire and makes your light bulbs light up. But let's say there's also something else, choose a different color, that you can actually see. Let's say there's also this overlay that's also on top of there. So let's say usually there is a mind control overlay that runs on top of the just pure innocent electrons flowing in a wire. Because electrons flowing in a wire, you guys know your basic electromagnetism. At a 90-degree angle, what do we get? A lovely magnetic field like this all around it. So we're talking about magnetic fields here. And what we've been experiencing on Earth right now has been a magnetic field free-for-all, where only the loudest is heard. And that's why I've been lasagnaing very, very loud. I've got my piano all set up. It's not working. Here, I have to plug a thing, whatever. I'm supposed to have huge sounds when I say that. Nothing's working. Anyway, so I perceived that usual blue line was not there, and let's make a different color. I perceived that there was instead this green line. And I started to talk to it because that's what this level of insight and understanding is. I tasted a little bit of it and I kind of like, what is that? Where is this coming from? What is this? And I got the idea. I understood the information that it was coming from these guys, these paternalistic assholes. But I didn't know yet that that's what they were. Like the light was, because guys, I thought like this is everything that I've been talking about and knowing is happening on a profound level. Like we're, having these consciousness experiences. So I'm totally ready for this. And I'm like, oh wait, what's going on with the electricity? And also here's another thing. Electricity was off in Northern California, but it was on where I am. And there were some other startling things where it's like, although I was in the sun and usually I'm thirsty all the time. You guys know that from this class. I have to drink all the time. I felt wonderful. I didn't feel hungry and I didn't feel like I needed to drink water. I just felt like very naturally sustained. And even though it was sunny, I didn't feel like hot. I'm just collecting my thoughts. Well, I might have to circle back around to it. But anyway, I was still wearing my contact lenses. I wear corrective lenses. And it's something I've had to do my whole entire existence as Aurora, but was not necessary for, the previous person who had this body. Like the brain injury created a lot of visual disturbances. So as I'm feeling these waves of ascension, I was like, well, I don't feel hungry or thirsty, but like, I still have to wear glasses. I still have to wear contact lenses to see. Like, it doesn't exactly seem like everything I expected would happen in terms of physical body healing, right? If all of a sudden we become suddenly reconnected to our divinity and have all of that beautiful light coming from the sun, like our bodies get healed and nourished and revivified. I'm just trying to use the right words. I don't know if it's coming out. But anyway, I tasted that electricity. I'm like, that electricity. And then I connected with these guys and they say, oh, that's coming from us. And they're telling me that they are these benevolent extraterrestrials. So what they did was they turned down the mind control grid a little bit in a test run. Just like they did a test run of powerlessness, no, electricity in Northern California. And a big part of the mind control grid that I have not yet mentioned is the sun simulator or the sky array. These are not effective words to talk about it. And believe me, in the future, after we are successfully free, there will be an entire science devoted entirely to the analysis of exactly what technology was deployed during this time in humanity's, process of inner development in order to not only obscure the sun, this is huge, not just like an umbrella blocking it out, but literally reach into your mind and prevent you from thinking certain thoughts. That is hugely invasive. That is not what I thought it was until that moment. Believe me, guys, I have YouTube. I watch YouTube and there are tons and tons of them. There are many devoted people, and my hat is off to them, that go through webcams looking for clues of what is actually in the sky. So let's get a different color. There is indeed the sun in the sky. Let's choose like a poop color. There we go. There is our sun in the sky, but then there is something else that is like an obscurer of the sun. Let's like say an artificial light, like a fluorescent light, and it beams down a lot of fluorescent light beams. So we are not getting a lot of the red squiggles that are from our beautiful sun that we should be getting, that contain not only information, not only photons like energy and infrared light, but also intelligence. Like you learn stuff. You learn stuff from the sun. You get food. And so when I talk about lasagna, guys, let's draw lasagna. You know what I'm going to draw here, guys. I jump up and over via flying rainbow lasagna, all of that poop, to connect with the sun. And this is what I do on a regular daily basis. And then get all of that energy that's red. Let's change the color. Through this way, right? And then feed people lasagna through artwork and videos and my own singing and my own voice and my own genetic emanation, all right? It's kind of like an end around so that there can be light and food and lasagna here. But clearly it's like it's a workaround of something we shouldn't have to work around. And even still, I think we should just be able to have direct access to all of this food that's there. So we get twice as much visual energy and radiation as we're actually supposed to get. This is why it's like uncomfortably bright sometimes on the days when the false ascension was going on, Saturday and Sunday. It did not feel super bright to me. I didn't have to wear a giant hat. My eyes were not hurting. I sat outside in the sun all day. I had on jojoba oil, which has an SPF of 4. I did not burn. I did not even look very much darker than, my usual amount of sunlight. And that is very, very different than what it usually is like. And I have been able to, then they turned it back on. So what is going on here? There's a whole array. That's what I was trying to say before. This poop-colored array. And it's everything from a shield that shields out the actual sun, an emitter of waves that are not actually nourishing waves, but that are bright to look at and that are somewhat damaging. But let's talk about, let me erase a little bit. Let's talk about what's going on with this little person down here. It's not just that this is blocking out and making it so that those red waves can't come in. Imagine if the poop was inside. And imagine if it was inside of your head, all in there. Imagine if this poop was all in here. That is very, very horrible. And that is what is going on. So it's not just like they say, we'll put an umbrella out and then the humans won't be able to have all that sunlight. And again, remember the rationale of the paternalistic assholes. They say, oh, we want to protect you. We want to keep you safe. You're not ready for all of this red light, right? Right, guys? Like saying, I'm the dad. You're not ready to have money. No, I'm going to keep all the money and I will give a small amount out to you and you can demonstrate that you're, go mow the lawn and I'll give you $5 and then we'll see about that. So that's false ascension. That's the new cage. That's what these beings wanted to do. They wanted to make a world where they would have all the energy, they would have all the power, they would dole out technology to humanity. Humanity would still live in a fucking box. It would just be a slightly larger box and humanity would go into that box because humanity is so beset. Let's just draw like the worst poop. Humanity is so beset with these horrible vibrations that are happening on this planet right now that it is almost unfucking bearable. And it is so uncomfortable that when they turned it off, now wait, let's go to, wait, let me rewind, this. When they turned it off, no, that's not what I want. Here, erase this. They turned it off for one fucking weekend. And you know what it felt like to me? It felt like the most relaxing. Okay, so they didn't even turn it fully off. They just turned it off enough in order to start to feel elevated and feel good. So, here are the basic stages. Like you start to emotionally, inwardly, energetically start to feel more elevated and start to feel more good. Like, hey, I'm feeling pretty good. My energy is getting higher and higher and higher. And then in looking at the world, like the world becomes more beautiful. And then at a certain point, you break on through to the other side and you see pure abstraction. Okay, these are like the basic stages. And of ascension, that is natural consciousness raising, but everybody thinks that it's about being psychedelic fantasy land, but it's not. It is natural consciousness raising and reconnection to the divine. This is what I'm talking about and what I've been teaching this class all about. They turned down the mind control grid just enough to make it so that you could feel a little bit better. But I'm really lasagna. I'm extremely lasagna in my lasagna-ness. So I got a lot of light. I got a lot of insight. I got a ton of insight about who they were, what they were doing, and I wasn't fooled. So here, maybe we should just go back to my face, and I'm sure there's a lot to talk about in the chat. And I have lots more. I have drawings and everything to share. Here are some of the yellow caution flags that were waving for me, okay? So on both Saturday and Sunday, like I spent a lot of time sitting outside in the sun and then came inside at the end of the day and the sun comes in my window very, very strongly. And it was like a blast furnace. It was so strong. It was like hugely orange, hugely strong, like just really incredible. And even when I had the blinds and a huge drop cloth down, it still felt like, whoa, and not just light, but like, whoa, like a magnetic field, like a very strong field was blasting me or whatever. And I got many downloads of insight. And the insight, as I started to examine it, like I started to question it. I'm like, wait, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. So it's just like when you meet someone, when they're like, oh, this guy seems so great. But like, here's a yellow caution flag and here's another yellow caution flag. Wait, yellow caution flags are waving. Like you gotta pay attention to that shit. And I'm telling you this, guys, because I want other people to be immune to this type of fakery that is going on, a technologically assisted ascension run by assholes. No, that is not what we are going to experience at all. So here were the yellow caution flags. They were asking me about my sense of what humanity needed in terms of events in order to heal on an internal level from the abuses that we have suffered socially, religiously, like all these things. Like this is what events in Washington, D.C. and, the pedophiles, this is what that represents. That stuff represents all of our trauma. It is the traumatized children. We are the traumatized children. We have a traumatized planet. It is the planet herself. It's off-planet invaders coming and taking over this government and utilizing its intelligence agencies to further rape and cannibalize children instead of prosecuting the rapists and cannibals. Like this is what we're talking about. So what's the problem? There's been the thing blocking out the sun the whole time. So for 3 years, many more actually, but for at least the past 3 years, as these rays that are very, very strong have been blocked out, humanity hasn't gotten access to all the information and nourishment that we needed to really grow and get to the point that we need so that when the big curtain is opened up or when the big reveal happens, when you actually, are blasted with all of this energy so that you're ready, done with all the stupid bullshit, cleaning up all the muddy footprints and ready to do something fun in the art studio as opposed to work through your collective trauma, okay? Humanity hasn't worked through its collective trauma and there's still a lot of muddy footprints and bullshit on the floor. So this, in the conversation with these beings who purport to be benevolent extraterrestrials, they're asking me about what I think humanity needs. And I'm like, oh yes, humanity needs to have actual, illegitimate trials. I'm trying to say legitimate trials with people that show evidence that is incontrovertible and see actual, justice happen and actual executions, and then feel, released of the collective anger and feel like justice has been served and like it's not enough just to sweep things under the carpet. It like, think about this, like kind of like this. If the great scriptwriter would be consulting with you, like, hey, like, should I write, it's your favorite show, and this is the last episode of your favorite show. What do you want to see? This is like fan fiction, okay? And I'm like, well, yeah, like you got to bring these guys to justice, blah, blah. And then everyone can ride off into the sunset. Then everyone can melt into abstraction. There's the sunshine in. Like, then you can have that sunshine in, okay? But first you got to do the cleanup. And then people are ready to get into that fabulous feeling. And they were trying to convince me, the supposedly benevolent assholes, that no, like you can just have like a script where like, oh yeah, all those guys went to their bunker and a meteorite fell on their bunker and then they're just gone and now you're fine. Like the boogeyman's fine, now you guys can boogie. Like that's not acceptable. That's not fair, because all of the things that everyone here for 3 years has been fighting about on the internet. And there's been very limited free speech. There's been very limited self-expression and people for being able to actually share the information that is out there. But yes, it is what the dangling carrot that has dragged everyone through 3 more years. What if I told you you were already supposed to have ascended into the sunshine 3 years ago? What if you were already supposed to have done that 10 years ago or even longer? What if all of this is harvest? That's what harvest is. Wait, I got to talk more. And I got to draw it, and I got to draw it. Harvest is energy harvest. Energy harvest means you are supposed to go up in this beautiful ascent. Let's have a beautiful ascending color. How about whatever? Blue. Oh, wait, do they have purple? Yeah. A beautiful ascending color. You're supposed to go blue. Ah, fantastic. Look at that beautiful ascent. You know what you are not supposed to do? Here's the poop color. You are not supposed to go like, I'm going up, I'm crashing down. I'm going up, I'm crashing down. I'm going up, I'm crashing down further. I'm going up, I'm crashing all the way down. Like that is not what is supposed to happen. And this is in terms of your emotional state. So I experienced many, many energy harvests over Saturday and Sunday, where my energy is supposed to, if this is real ascension, what is supposed to happen is you're supposed to have the light turned on louder and louder and louder and louder and louder, and it gets more and more and more, and it never stops, okay? That's what it is. And those of us who have done our exercises, like as it starts to get louder, you're like, oh, I'm running. And then it gets louder. You're like, I gotta run faster. Your fucking chakras faster, okay? And then as it gets louder, like, woo, I really gotta run fast. And then you are experiencing this different reality. That is the quantum leap. In the quantum leap, you have to do it. You can't do it halfway. You got to get up to speed, okay? So all of that is the second big takeaway. Light is alive. You got to eat a lot of it, and you got to get a lot of it and get your momentum going. You're supposed to accrete light. You're supposed to get energy. Get energy, everyone. Don't lose energy. Losing energy is going into entropy. That is not what you're supposed to be doing. So this is a battle to go upward, to accrete light, to get energy together. And these things are harvesting. And the things that are harvesting are literally like on or in our chakras, but not are our chakras. Chakras are separate. So it's kind of like you got parasites in you, but you are not your parasites. So even the answer is not to remove your chakras, it is to remove your parasites. It's the paternalistic assholes who are not your friends. So those assholes, now we have to draw the membrane of death. Those assholes shield themselves. Let's just say they shield themselves from truth. Because what's supposed to happen is this intelligent light is supposed to come through everything. Like imagine being translucent and all of this energy just flows through you. Wait, let's get a better color of beautiful energy. All of this energy just flows through you and then flows through you this way and then flows through you this way. Like there's no distinction between you and light. That is what is supposed to be happening. The paternalistic assholes, they shield themselves from this light. they don't want to accept what is going on. So let's draw the membrane of death, and you guys will understand this more. This is a very close-up version of the membrane of death, right? I'm drawing it like super fat. I hope you guys can still see it on your screen. So this would be considered let's just choose blue, this energy impulse that is coming from a timeline from the area of inside of the vortex where you're alive. Boom, you get to the membrane of death and boom, you hit the membrane of death. Well, what happens to you? This is big. What happens to you? Your momentum of life continues to carry you across the membrane of death. And the membrane of death is a multi-lane highway of energy where there are flows that both flow in this direction and in this direction. And those are flows from the convergence point, from the source, from the singularity, and away from the singularity. And the problem is that there are the fatty blockages. Now I'm going to draw some poop-colored fatty blockages. Here's like an actual person. Those pesky occupiers of the interstices personified on the membrane of death. So what is happening is all of this energy is coming from the sun in terms of rectification. This is the membrane of death. No one's supposed to be there. If you're there, there is a problem. You got to get rectified. And rectified means like unfurling the sweater, changing the genetic loops, changing the time loops, changing the expression, the behavioral expression. And so if there were no poop-colored man there, all of these lines would come like this, and they would change the impulse. So when you die, let's say if you die at age 10, but you could have lived until you're 50, there's 40 years. You could be slowly traveling across the membrane of death, where's my color, for 40 years. That is called the economy of hell. This is lesson 16. Guys, we have not even made it to lesson 18. I don't know if we will. Consult with previous semesters if you need to check that out. I mean, I'm joking because this was just a conversation, not even class. But like, that is an aberration. That's not what's supposed to be happening at all. So if you make it to the membrane of death and these red squiggles make you melt away, that is good. But if you're blockaded by a fatty blockage, pesky occupier of the interstice, then yeah, you can spend 40 fucking years going across the membrane of death not knowing that you're dead. That's the worst type of death. And this goes now to speak to everyone here on Earth. Like, let's say some big event happens. Like I've described to you happened in the Crab Nebula. Neutron star, dun dun dun, kapow! And what happens to your planet? Your planet gets engulfed in light. And what if you're like crappy? What if you're a bunch of crappy assholes who are not ready to meet themselves in light? What do I mean by that? None of this is about biblical judgment. It's like, what if the light of truth shined through your body and every single thing that you've ever done and every single thing you've ever thought, every single moment of your life were illuminated simultaneously? That's what it's like, guys. That's what we're talking about. Every single thing you've ever done. So guess what? You would look at me and you would see many, many hours spent painting in my fucking studio because that's what I do all the time. But what if you spent many, many hours, you know, like raping and killing people? Or whatever, injecting drugs, or whatever, stealing, any of these things. Like, those are not things that you would feel like, woohoo, I want to show the world, that's who I am. But that's what life is like when we achieve this higher dimensional experience. And so the sad news is we're supposed to be having this higher dimensional experience right now, but it has been blocked out from us. And it's actually supposed to be something we should have had 3 years ago. So wait, I'm drinking. How do these guys, because these poop-colored guys over here are supposed to be exposed to the red lines of light from the sun, and they're supposed to melt away. Look, sunlight is like incredibly strong. It's smart and it's strong. So if it comes with the poop man, it's like, oh, look, I'm erasing you, I'm getting past you, and then I'm getting over to here. Why does it not do that? This is the next thing I ask with my tendril of attention. Why does it not do that? And the answer is because the poop men, I'm using stupid language here and making it funny, but this is not funny. They use a shield. Oh yes, they use a shield because they don't want that light to come inside of them. So the guys that made the barrier over here say, Earth, you don't deserve to have all this light. They feel that they get to shield you in exactly the same way that these guys get to shield themselves over here. They're the same consciousness. They're the same type of consciousness. These guys are only mildly more sophisticated in their use of technology. All of this is subversion of time, technology that is used to subvert time, and it is used to harness and exploit the natural process of planetary ascension, which has everything to do with the stellar network. I am now going to tell you all about the stellar network. I know there's lots of questions in the chat. I will totally rewind and get to you, but let me just go with the flow. Clear everything out. So this goes now to my insight about what the stellar network is. Let's say every single one of these red dots is a star, just like I was just drawing the sun. You guys understand, I talk about this all the time. The stellar network is a great brain. So this is a simplified drawing, but these guys all are intelligent light emitters, and they are connected like a polygon with all of these various signals that go back and forth, and the going back and forth is like a type of music and thought, okay? And it actually creates this beautiful closed loop system that you could call a star brain. Painfully slow to write it out. I'm actually going to narrate while I write. Wow, that's slow. My B didn't come out that good. Woo, doing pretty good so far. Oh my God, this is taking a long time. She almost done, almost done. Good golly, that took a long time. The star brain, okay? And that brain is the collection of not just each one of our stars, but like, you know, every single galaxy and all of these multiple layers of time. It's an incredibly complex being. Let me drink a little bit more. Now let's talk about if there could be something outside of that closed system. And let's also talk about what is life, oops, are we connected? Yes. What is life like inside of that closed system? So this is a perpetual motion machine. That means that all of those impulses that go around, they keep going around and going around and going around forever and never, ever stop. They don't have friction inside of there. It's a beautiful, perfect harmonic device, okay? And these are my origins. This is where I come from. And I was able to talk with them with myself, very, very clearly, all right? And I got a lot of really good information about what is going on our planet and what is going on all of these planets. All of these technology using space races, they are an affront. Like, they make the stars angry. They are using technology that draws energy off of the stars in a way that is unhealthy. And so here's the problem. So your viewpoint on Earth has been obscured so that not only can your physical eyes not see what is going on in the sky in terms of a battle between various technology using space races, but also your consciousness is being controlled, like horribly, your willpower is being overwhelmed so that you cannot think certain thoughts to even perceive it. What is happening is akin to like a science fiction movie where you have one race fighting another race, but they don't want you to know about it, so they have deployed the array, the sun simulator array, to block it out from your consciousness. And events like the recent fires in California, that happened because of this war that is going on. The fire of Paradise, California, that incinerated many, many thousands of humans. 900 is the official account, or something around there, but it was actually many, many more. That is a war on humanity that is happening right now. I'm not being cautious with my language at all. Like, you guys are in a battle, and each one of you is a warrior, not even a soldier. It's not like you're a soldier that fights for a government. You are a warrior, and you connect to the divine, and you fight for, your truth and what is truthful inside of you. You don't fight because some sergeant tells you, go over there and fight that guy. You fight because you feel it inside and you follow your inner directive. That's why you're in this class. I'm directing this video to the people that are in this class. So there are two different factions that are fighting for the ascension of this planet. They think they own the energy. They don't own the energy. What did I say in that first painting that I showed you? I said, who owns the energy of the ascension? It's the earth and the sun and the inhabitants of the planet, which I personify as human because I'm in a human body. If I was in a plant or a dog body, I would have drawn that as the little figure, but I personify as a human. It's about us. It ain't about them. It ain't about these assholes that want to come between us and the sun. us and the divine. So they even want to portray themselves as angels. They're not angels at all. People often worship them. They often steal people's prayers. They're like, yoink, I'll take that prayer. Yoink, I'll take that prayer. You think you're sending it to real God, but they think, oh, the language is so loosely drawn and I qualify and tell myself that I'm an angel. So then I'll just take that prayer. I'll just take that prayer. So they take energy that they don't that they're not allowed to have. They're made up of false energy. Okay, let's talk about what is a sun, what is a star, how do stars come into being? We did this in class. Stars have metabolism. Stars are birthed, like they are born. They are a collection of potential dust and gases that coalesce together. Giant cymatic waves move through, galactic superwaves moves through, help them to coalesce together into actual furnaces that science, the objective materialists, just look at with your dead, stupid eye. You see a dead, stupid thing, and you say, oh, it's just out there like a nuclear furnace making all sorts of crap happen and sending off lots of heat and light and gamma rays and all sorts of radiation. It's actually so much more than that. It's a consciousness that is conceived, just like your sperm and your egg had to come together to make a physical container. And then a consciousness had to come into that physical container. Consciousness had to come into the physical star container. They're people. There are people. And spoiler alert, what do I always say? Spoiler alert, you become the stars. So again, I'm talking to people in this class, the people who have actually been doing the jogging and getting ready for the marathon. You become the stars. So if I go back to that drawing, I don't know if we can go all the way back. Well, you know, if I redraw it, it's painful to redraw. The sun, lots and lots and lots of light, different color. The earth with you over here. Hey, if we remove that poop, then all of that light can come to you. You guys are ready. You guys are ready for all this light. You guys are ready for all this intelligence, all this awareness. The truth is, the order of operations does not go human, angel, God, or the divine. It's angel, human, God, or the divine. So I'm going back into things that I've said many times, but I'll say it in a different way. Like everybody who's here, everybody who's in this class, they're all divine beings that came into these levels of limitation as part of the necessary trajectory to be able to rise up to the level of being a star. And when you rise up to the level of being a star, you're joining the band, you are part of this consciousness collective, and it is not death. So let's say there was going to be a big, huge release of energy from the sun, from all the musicians in the band. Is my thing playing? Where's my thing play? I'm like, why not play? I thought I turned it on. No? Yeah, I'm like, play a lot of music in the band. Yeah, that's what is supposed to happen. You don't have to hide yourself from this beautiful light. The paternalistic assholes are like, oh, we wouldn't want you to be fried with too much light, awareness, intelligence, understanding of who you are. No, what actually happens is when that light really starts to flow, because you take away the barrier of not only the sun simulator, but all of the waves that are on the frequency, all of the 5G, all of the everything. And it's also internal. It's internal with fucking wetware. Once you take all of that away, you remember, oh my God, I'm God. I'm totally God. I'm totally a star. I'm connected to God in the stars. All of that, there's no way to be, for lack of a better term, victimized anymore. There is no way. So I have to collect my thoughts. There were so many things. Wait. From my lower perspective, before I had experienced these more elevated levels, I would have accepted a more mediocre existence. I would have accepted a larger cage. Something like, well, how about we change the money system, get rid of all the parasites. Clearly we need to have trials, get rid of all the parasites, blah, blah, blah. And then I remember years ago thinking well, humans aren't really ready to be without money. It takes all this maturity and people need markers for value and all these different things and social status. I remember recording that video and it felt a bit wanky to me, like a bit of a compromise, but I had to admit humanity at that level, I don't think was ready for that. Now what I think is, oh my God, all you have to do is remove all of the screens, remove every single blockade from light, and you guys are ready to run the marathon. Because as soon as a tiny little morsel A tiny little amount of that light got to me. I was like, oh, fuck this. I don't want to just live in a house and not have to pay rent. Are you kidding me? That's like living in a cage. I want to be able to go anywhere at any time, doing anything, having the energy to do it all. You start to understand. So first of all, wait, I'll go back to my face. And we should talk about all these different things. I recognize that this was their last desperate ploy. So it's rock'em sock'em robots, first of all. And I apologize if I've ever misrepresented myself. I've always given my very limited provisional support to Trump and members of the United States federal government in the sense that I was giving them the chance to demonstrate that they could adjudicate their own criminals, right? And I got to give them a bit of time. Okay, it ain't going to happen at first. Okay, well, maybe another year. Okay, it has been 3 years, and it is now extremely, extraordinarily clear to me that they will never adjudicate themselves. And what became clear to me when I got to this higher dimensional state was that it's rock'em sock'em robots, okay? So I've known for a long time, like Trump is cloned. I've known for a long time there are many cloned or synthetic or non-natural, non-human participants in human government. Many of them are demonic or pesky occupiers of the interstice or poop controlled, right? Many of them, Many of them are, let's say, controlled by evil, controlled by Satanists, controlled by a particular space race. But what became apparent to me is that the guys that are presenting themselves as the good guys, who are actually like totally sewer rats themselves, but it's just a joke. Like if you have to root for Giuliani, it's like it's a joke because he's such a horrible person, but he's the best of, like, if you've got this horrible, horrible team and then the slightly less horrible team, it's like, oh, we're rooting for them and everything, and reading all of the articles and really caring about what is going on. Well, the slightly less horrible team, those are the guys that run the sun simulator. Those are the guys that prevent you from being able to see the war that is happening right above your heads. And it's not only see it with your eyes, it is see it and accept it. Those are the guys who allowed 900 officially, thousands unofficially, humans to be incinerated. I am saying this to you so that you do not think in any way that they are your friends. They are not benevolent. They are not your friends. The Pleiadians aren't your friends. The Arcturians aren't your friends. I don't care if you went to a fucking UFO conference and someone channeled them through a crystal for you. This is not right. And I'm really yelling at you about this because I'm for real. And I've been here on this planet with you, trying to get you to know and do what you need to do to protect yourself. And these other people have been blatantly, totally lying to you. All these people get paid for it's called the UFO con. Okay, I've been to very few of them. The ones that I went to, I did not actually get paid from. I would just tell you that, just basic, flat out. The fuckers who have the YouTubes with millions of views and very high Patreons, they are being paid by, for lack of a better word, the Luciferians, okay? They're both fucking evil. Satanists, Luciferians, they make a distinction between themselves and then they fight between themselves, okay? It's totally fucking bullshit because they all use technology. This is why I don't want you to think that my fucking painting is about aliens running the human ascension, because they would love to co-opt me. And I will not ever allow that. They will never co-opt the lasagna. You guys know that I have real integrity. You guys know that I stay alive because you guys pay me. You guys buy my shirts and other things like that. Real human beings keep me alive, and I'm a real fucking alien that's here to help you on this planet. And I'm telling you that there is no way for you as humans to go through your daily lives, driving your car and paying your rent without knowing that you literally can be blown up at any moment. They literally can incinerate you. They literally can control your mind. They literally are taking over. And what they did with this false ascension over the weekend, they just turned it like a little blip. The blip was enough for me to see what's going on. And also, I want to reassure you, the sun and the stars are for real. They are way more powerful and magnificent than any of the stupid technology users. The stupid technology users are an infestation. And I've spoken about this a lot from lesson 18, so you guys know what's going on. And the flying rainbow lasagna is not a form of artificial technology. So really big, huge distinction. This is a natural dance. This does not require technology. And I'm telling you, even with that little blip of getting some food from the sun, technology appeared to me as the weakest, stupidest, lamest toy. Like, that is not interesting at all. And imagine what it's like when you get a lot of food. Imagine if you never drink any water and you get a tiny little Like, oh, like that's actually kind of good. Imagine if you had a gallon of water. Imagine what you would think and feel about technology. You would not be impressed with it at all. You would not want anything to do with it. All the things. So like, oh my goodness, guys, I love playing music. I love experiencing frequency and all those things. You can do all of that with your mind. You can do all, so don't ever think like, oh, like I have to have technology so that I can play my music or so that I can do my creativity or whatever. Anything that you can do with technology, you can do way, way better with your body when it has full access to the sun and the stars. I want to tell you more about the star brain because there's pathogenic crap, and that's where the technology comes from. This is just, I'll get to, I really want to make it a conversation. I know there's a lot of like back and forth here, and I don't just want to monologue, but I just want to like get more of this out. This is the star brain, and there's, it's like a closed loop. It's like being within your own dream, but that's not a bad thing. Like the truth is, it's not a bad thing. If you like yourself, I don't know who you guys are actually. I do know who I am, and I like myself. So when the light of truth shines through me, in those moments, I'm like, woohoo, like this is feeling wonderful. I like myself and I like my life and I like all the choices that I've made and I'm proud of who I am. Like that is what it is supposed to feel like. Like you feel like you are a beautiful, acceptable person. And if you're feeling that way about yourself and you go inside of your own dream, it should be a beautiful dream. It should not be a horrible nightmare. And exploring that beautiful dream with other occupants that are like other aspects of self is what this star brain is like. Okay? And the inhabitants, now let's draw some little planets in there. Wait, first let's get a planet color. Ooh, I just made noise, sorry. Here's a planet. So they're in the stars, there are little planets, like we live on a planet, right? Oh, wait, I know what's happening. And then some of these little planets arise, life, which is like art experiments like us, right? And some of these little planets get infested with technology. Here I'm drawing poop on some of them. This is an organism. The star brain is like an organism. And those infestations of technology, they're like pathogenic invasions. Think of it almost like a tendril. Wait, let me draw it differently. Think of it like a tendril that reaches in like this and gets to that planet. And reaches in like this and gets to that planet. And then it gets to the planet, causes all sorts of wacky disruptions, all sorts of things, all sorts of, here, let's draw it like this. It's drawn as like crazy waves that get all crapped up and everything like that. And then eventually the star brain rights itself. It's an organism. It has a metabolism. It's intelligent. It has an immune system. It's like, let's get cancellation waves, get rid of the bad music, play only good music, and get these things, let's say, like cut them off there, cut them off there, get them out of there. So then there's no more of those pathogens, and then everything functions properly, okay? Let's say that just happened as one cycle. And remember, this all happens in higher dimensional realities, layers of time tapestry with, needle pulling thread, going through it. The brain that is having this, it's just like you as a child, like getting a pathogenic infection. What happens when you get sick? Let's draw. Do I have to draw the cell membrane, the nuclear membrane, the stuff goes in, blah, blah, blah. What happens when you get sick is there are invaders that come through your cell membranes that are supposed to be strong, but instead they are impregnated. And invaders come in, and then if you're, a little tiny child, like, you get the sniffles, and your body learns, those are invaders, they're not supposed to be here, get them out. That is what you do, you get them out. And then what happens again? Well, then, because, you're a little kid, you don't know what are pathogens. More tendrils come in, woo, more tendrils come in, and they destabilize the metabolism of the whole entire time field. And the whole entire time field gets the sniffles, and gets the flu, and then has to clean things up. And this takes millennia, billions of years. It happens over such a grand scale that to you and I, it is like, there's not a word for it. Big, long time. Finally, epically fight out all the pathogens and then experience some time of stability, some time of health. But then there's more that come in, and it's this endless, not endless, it is this boring, repetitive cycle that has an end that does not have to be ended. So what I'm talking about right now are the beings that have to go to entropy. the occupiers of the interstices, because you can kill some of these ones or send them to entropy and they pop back up into energy. Remember this class, I don't have to go over it with you again, energy, entropy, energy, entropy. So if we say, hey, you're a pesky occupier of the interstice, you're a piece of poop, you're supposed to go to entropy. Boom, send it to entropy. They're supposed to stay there. It's like saying, I take away your light, I take away your energy, you can't move through time, boom, you should be frozen. But some of these guys pop back up. They're like, boom, I got some energy again. How'd you get energy again? How is this happening? How are we continually being reinfected with evil or pathogenic consciousness? And the answer is because this is the star brain over here, which is like one organism. There's another organism over here. And it is not a nice organism. It does not have everything that it needs. It is what science would describe as a brown dwarf. So these are very different objects. In science, we describe how a nebula coalesces into a star. It has enough energy in order to carry star metabolism. It's able to emit light through these various processes and then eventually collapses into itself as a black hole. What is a brown dwarf according to objective materialist science, which is what you can see with your dead eye through a dead telescope? And the answer is it is a magnetic object. These are swirls of magnetic poop being emitted around it. It's a magnetic object. It doesn't emit light. Light in this class is information, it's consciousness, it's food. It doesn't have food. It's dead and it doesn't have food. It's actually a never was. It's not alive. It's not like it birthed, lived, and died. That's a black hole. That's different. That's a singularity at the center of a black hole. This is different. This is a never was. A thing that never was. It never lived. It never should have become conscious. It's not alive. So what does it do? Now I got to take a color here. It takes energy from the thing that is alive. This is happening on a grand scale, not just here on this little planet. But this relates very, very much to our personal individual struggles to stay alive and to not be harvested by the poop. So what can be done? Let's say that you're meeting this red star brain is meeting this poop consciousness for the first time. And the poop consciousness is like, oh, I'm going to assault you. And the red consciousness is like, I don't really like that. You know, let's over many, many, many billions of years, get rid of that. And then the poop consciousness is like, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. Does it 20 million, billion, gazillion times. At a certain point, the star brain recognizes that it is not its job to be a victim. In fact, you can have this realization and recognition after the first time. The first time it comes inside of you and tries to fucking kill you, you can say, oh, you know something. Oh, no, 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 that really will not do it all. We are going to have to unmake you because you are trying to kill me. So first of all, this is an inevitability object. It's inevitable, can't unbe, it's got to be. And it can't be killed. And this fucking poop is coming along and trying to kill it. No. It cannot be killed. It is a lie. It's a lie that is trying to make something truthful because it's a perpetual motion machine and it's trying to siphon off energy that would make it then peter out and go slower and slower and slower and try to kill it. No, you don't get to actually do that. So this is a bunch of personality characteristics over here that are so crappy that it's music that never should be played. These are the beautiful, divine, perfect people over here, the term papers that actually were spelled correctly, right? The people who actually practice their instruments and play beautiful music and actually belong there, as opposed to fucking invaders who are consciousness aspects and characteristics that are poop. And this goes down to the ancient question of how come there was poop at the source? Why did poop emanate itself from the source? The answer is because it came from out here. So what is being hidden from you by the solar simulator or whatever we want to fucking call it is a large brown dwarf. It is a magnetic object that absolutely affects you as a magnetic being, our planet's magnetic field, and has been trying to draw, not only come between you and the sun, but all that red stuff, all this red ascension stuff, it's trying to draw off. It's trying to siphon off your gas for ascension. And you need all of your fucking gas so that you can get all the way fucking home. And none of this is fair and none of this is right. So don't worry, guys. Don't worry. I'm pausing in a moment here. I'm pausing. I need a drink. I need to get to, there are solutions. What is actually happening instead of this? Because here's what I'm trying to say. I mean, I just really need to drink. For a long time, I've been telling you guys, like, hey, we got to get a bucket and a mop, like a flying rainbow lasagna. We're going to clean up the muddy footprints. But it is not very much fun to clean up the muddy footprints and then simply have to clean them up again because they get trapped in again. Just cleaned up these muddy footprints. I want to do something more fun than clean up muddy footprints. I want to actually paint paintings. Cleaned up these footprints yesterday. Why are there footprints here? There are footprints here because the big poop came in and footprinted up the place again. So this is what it's like. And I keep on was trying to think about effective analogies. Like in your physical body, you recognize that there are microbes that are pathogenic invaders and you don't want them to be inside of you. No ethical issues at all about ejecting a pathogen, like something that will cause a disease, a pox or whatever. Get it out of you. It's not supposed to be in you. It is not, your friend is not supposed to live there. So you don't want a pox inside of you. How about in your bathroom? Do you want to be like, oh yes, every surface is coated with, bacterium in there, but I'm going to go in there? Like, no, you don't want that in there. So what do? You get Clorox and you sterilize it. You kill all the pathogens, But of course, with Clorox, you're killing beneficial microbes too. So what are we talking about here? I'm talking about the sun and the stars. I'm talking about this as a hyper intelligent being. And it might be hard, for limited humans. I know, I'm not condescending to you. It's just, it might be hard to imagine what this being is even like, what this star brain is like. It's very, very, very smart and very, very, very capable. Would it just say like, okay, I've got this infection over here. I don't like it coming inside of me. How about I just get, let's say this is some blue Clorox. How about I just spray Clorox bleach everywhere, sterilize the world, and then there will be only me, right? But it's not a pathogen. It's not a psychopath. Like in this world, there are psychopaths who would be like, I hate you. I'm getting rid of everyone. Clear the decks. Like, I only want me. Or whatever you would call them, sociopaths, narcissists, whatever you want to call it. Like unhealthy personality characteristics exist in this world, but not in this world. This world, you say, no, I actually want cool people that I can meet. How do I act when I come here? I'm like, I actually want to meet other cool musicians that I can jam with. That's what's supposed to happen. This star brain is supposed to travel around meeting other star brains, having all sorts of cool things happen because you're in a big, giant, multicellular organism, okay? So that's the fun that we're supposed to be learning about. Spoiler alert, this is what you're going to experience in the future. I hope that you remember this perfectly. And yeah, you don't want to sterilize everything because there's a friend out there. There could be somebody cool. So what you want to do is do a targeted getting rid of this guy. So what do? We go back to its origins. Now let's say its origins, let's say the poop was emitted over here in time and that it's grown over time and spiraled and spiraled and spiraled and then came to be over here. Well, what you need to do is flying rainbow lasagna back in time, right? Over to here and Clorox the poop before it spirals all the way over to here. And that is the type of thing that is happening because I didn't want to leave you guys with the sense of, oh my God, even the stars that Aurora says are so big and cool and wonderful and adept that they're being faced with something that can kill them. I don't want you to think like that. I never want you to think that those who are reliant upon technology are in any way greater than the sun, the stars, the natural world that is a world of miraculous light that is incredibly strong and self-intelligent and has its shit together. Yes. So even as I look at current events, it might be hard to think wait, who's got their shit together? This seems very, 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 whatever. Let's say there's technology that was hacked, that can be hacked, that can be hacked, that can be hacked. In terms of who is in control of reality. So wait, hold on 1 second. I don't know if I need to pause or whatever, but I need more water. So hold on, let me just get some more water from my carafe. Then this talk, I'll get to the questions. Oh my goodness, someone just came aboard. Someone just came on over. It's perfect timing. Cheeky's going to get up on there. I'm going to get some of this. Here, hold on a second, guys. I'm very sorry. I have to go all the way over here. Okay. Here, you come on over here, girl. Here. There we go. We got bosses in the house. There you go. Come on up. There you go. I gave her a little treat, too. Yeah, so thank you for the monologue. Let's go. Okay. Oh, there's a lot to scroll through. I'm squinting and scrolling. Okay, good. So this is about the time that the images actually started working. Here, Cheeky, you want to come on up? Rainbow is agreeing that phones are weapons. Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, everything that we're exposed to. So here's the problem. It's not just our phones, because you can be like, well, then have fun. I just want to use the phone. I will create a Faraday cage. I will this, I will that. There's still the fucking solar array. That is not just a loud, bright thing. It's actually reaching into our minds. It is actually that invasive. And it's so invasive that I couldn't even tell how invasive it was. Come on up, girl. You get it. You get it. Cheeky's on board. She is doing great. Just don't lick up my nose. Okay. All right. That is good. Okay. Richard says, what are consciousness parasites? How can go about evicting them and prevent ourselves from being reinfected? That is truly the journey that we are on right here. That is why we are here. Gods in disguise. We're figuring out how to do that. So Flying Rainbow Lasagna is part of the antidote, and the real answer is through willpower. Like all of this magnetic crap, it is a subverting of our willpower. They're trying to bend us over here or bend us over here. And what we need to do is be really, really, really focused. So I think I might have described to you guys in my lasagna dancing. Sometimes I feel like I have to be very, very coherent. This is going like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like sometimes you have to be that way because there are all of these other things that are influencers that are trying to make things happen. So the real answer is like, this is about strength of willpower, strength of your your inner integrity. You know, what holds you together? What holds you on your flight? What makes you go in a particular direction? How come some people are subverted? Like that, I want to sing that song. Why you were subverted. Why are some people subverted? And why are some people able to remain true even while we're in this crashing, magnetic, distortive, non-symphony? And I think that is the answer of being here. We're in a refinery of consciousness where some people keep their shit together and some people lose their shit completely. And I'm happy that there are so many people in this class that are able to keep their shit together. And let's continue to do that. And you know, even there, keep your shit together means think for yourself. Think clearly, not believe in the lies that are being presented to us. Oh, and when I was saying like the struggles in politics, it's rock'em sock'em robots. It's two guys played by the same guy. There's two guys played by the same guy. So they're both technology using poops, technology using space races, trying to be serious here. So yeah, there's Star Wars going on right up above your heads. Lasers are being shot, lasers are being shot, lasers are being shot at you as humans. Meanwhile, they're blocking out the natural food of consciousness that can turn you into a superhuman. That can turn you into a being that doesn't have to eat food or drink water to stay alive, that is in a completely healed, healthy body with telepathy and telekinesis. And like, those are the most limited aspects of your superpowers. There's even more that you are supposed to have access to. So these are not your friends in any way. And the war that you're watching, like, you're not rooting for anyone. None of these people are your friends. You're not rooting for any of them. Okay. Miniman says you need to eat intelligence. That's exactly right. You need to eat light. You need to eat intelligence. Then Pedro's appreciating my lasagna rant. Richard says, are chemtrails designed to block full light spectrum absorption? They're more than that. That's the objective scientist part of us says, light particles are blocking out the sun. I cannot see as much. It's hazy up there. But what's really happening, and yes, that is part of it, and you're also being poisoned by tiny little metallic particles coming inside of your skin and, you know, coming into your organs, and it's going to your dog and your plants too. So this is big. It doesn't just affect you as humans. It also affects plants and animals. Plants and animals are supposed to be telepathic. Put that in your mind. Have you ever seen a video of like, this goes around in the internet sometimes, like there's a hawk or a wild animal that walks up to a statue of a bunny and its nose is up to it. It's like, why are you not moving? You know something? In a world without the array that is controlling people's minds, or controlling organisms' minds, you're telepathic. The hawk can tell it's just a statue. It can tell that it's not an alive bunny. My dog does this sometimes too, where she sees that there's like whatever, a Christmas reindeer, decoration on a lawn. She doesn't know whether it's an alive animal or not. In the real world, like with not telepathic, synthetic telepathy, disruptor signals constantly being portrayed around us. Animals can tell who is real and who's not. Right now, it's very, very difficult to tell who's real and who's not. And so let me just say this. So I figured out that it's false ascension. And I'm like, fuck you guys. Like, this is not right at all. This is the whole thing. I said, like, look, in real ascension, you go up like this. You don't go up and then go down, up and then go down, up and then go down. And I'm also like, who are you guys to dole this out in dribs and drabs? Like, this is not the way that it's supposed to be at all. So I became instantly skeptical. And for about a week, I had been running a program, for lack of a better word, exploring a set of ideas where I was able to perceive because all of this, the light has been coming on. I've been perceiving more directly about the government. And I had been perceiving, well, there are cloaked beings that are actually doing this, all of the back and forth, but I didn't know who was at the controls. I simply did not know that I knew that someone had hacked, that someone was at the levers, someone was controlling things. I didn't know who was in control. And now it turns out it's the guys running the sun simulator. It's the guys blocking out Ascension. And what their intention was to do is dole it out in dribs and drabs, perhaps to me, perhaps to others. So now is when I want to start to compare what other people's experiences have been like, because I don't know if they want to say only people in a certain locality we want to have this false ascension, or maybe only a certain number of people. So here's another yellow caution flag. What they said, they wanted to know about, should there actually be trousers that just do psychologically scarring and should we all just sweep it under the carpet? No, you don't just sweep it under the carpet. You actually have to have difficult conversations in your family to heal from sexual abuse, from humanity's family, okay? The other one was they were trying to tell me when this mind ray gets turned off fully, some people will ascend instantaneously and some people will just exist in kind of like a mediocre mental state. And that is not the way this shit works. That was to me a total, like, that's a yellow caution flag waving. Like, like if you meet some guy and he seems so great and you're like, okay, like, but how about this? And he's like, well, my bank account, I'm waiting for that check to clear. I just can't do it. Maybe next Tuesday and I'll pay you back. You're kind of like, yellow caution flags are waving. Like that does not sound right. So this didn't sound right to me. Like, wait a minute, like who's going to ascend? Like some people are going to ascend and then some people are going to still live on earth and need to eat food and use money. Like, so then I'm going to be like an ascended person walking around naked and then I don't have to pay my rent, but somebody else has to pay the rent. I started to ask these critical questions and think critically. And they kept on being like, don't be negative, just go with it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, none of this makes sense. So my message to you guys, because on the one hand, I'm a very large-scale being, Aurora, with the stars, part of that stellar symphony. And on the other hand, my consciousness is also here at this level with you. And I want to give you good guidance about what, like if someone comes along and says, this is what I'm a benevolent alien and I'm going to help you with ascension. First of all, you do not need technologically assisted ascension. Just like a healthy woman does not need to have a technologically assisted birth. And this is earth-giving birth, okay? So yeah, you don't have to have some kind of a doctor to come along to give you an injection and tell you this is your starting off hormone and we're going to do this and then we'll eventually use a scalpel and remove the baby. Like, no, that is not what your birth experience has to be like. But that is what these interveners, these interventionist, hubristic, I keep calling them assholes, they're very misguided. And in their paternalism, like they shield themselves. They shield themselves from all of their own flaws so that they can pretend that they are benevolent. But they know that they have profound problems. Because here's the thing. When you become a star, you are completely wrapped up in your own thing and so happy to just be doing your own thing. You don't need anything from anyone. Just like imagine being so happy in your art studio. Like you have every single type of paint you could ever want. Every single type of instrument you could ever want, totally happy, well-fed, peaceful, the best, essential oils are in the air. Like everything feels fantastic and you have infinite amount of time to make, paintings, explorations, do whatever you want or whatever your version of that would be. If you want an endless workshop with endless wood to work with or whatever, endless sweaters to knit, whatever you like to do. That's what it's like. It's like, wow, something, you're not like, oh, I'm so bored. That's one of the things, like as the mind control ray was turned down, I did not feel bored at all. Like I was so happy to just exist. And usually in my mental state here, submerged with all this why fry, I always feel like I have to be like, let me put on some cool music, like, let me make some music, let me do some artwork, let me do something. Like it is a way of distracting myself from the constant negative feelings. And just in that little blip of having those harmful frequencies turned down, I felt so elated. I was not bored. And I was just very, very interested to just sit in nature and just learn things through insight. And it was a completely different experience of moving from moment to moment through time. And that was just a little tiny taste of what it is, a tiny controlled taste. So, wait, okay, I'll keep on talking. So the chemtrails are more than just this is an answer to Richard's question, more than just blocking out physical light. Like right now, I'm blocking out light from my lamp over here. It's not just like that. Imagine if I actually took my hand and stuck it into my optic nerve. That's what chemtrails do. They don't just sit on the outer lens of your cornea. It's not just like, like I gotta clean my windshield. No, you must clean the internal windshield because the optic nerve is controlled. Signals are perceived along the optic nerve by these chemtrails, self-assembling nano wetware. So the raw materials are sprayed in the sky, not just to block out the visible light, but also so that you and me and every fucking thing that is alive down here breathes it in and takes it into our skin. And then through being subjected to Wi-Fi signals, it self-assembles inside of you into fibers. Me and SJ are doing that the bucket club, right? Which is that sisterhood, the traveling pants. That's why I call it the girls bucket club. You know what I'm talking about. We're gonna send around the bucket so you can fry your nano so that you don't have all the infestation side of you. Well, guess what? It is time to fry the nano on a massive scale. It is time to fry the nano that is in the stellar brain, the star brain, and that includes all of these fucking species that have you, humanity, hoodwinked and conned that they are your friends. That if they gave you technology, that you would say, I will suck your cosmic dick. Thank you. Pardon my crude language. I warned you guys. This is big. This is not okay. This is to everybody who thinks that you want to get into a med bed to heal. I deride you. I'm thinking like something silly. I want to say like, oh my God, like it is the stupidest thing in the world. When you get to even a little bit of these ascended levels, you'll be like, what, get into some kind of sarcophagus that's a magical thing that's healed me? How totally fucking stupid and unnecessary. Totally fucking stupid and unnecessary. You will see it as a joke, but they don't want you to ever get to that level. They want you to be dependent upon it. So the long, which Chicky's getting all upset. The long con is that if you look back in the Bible, and you know I'm not a biblical literalist at all, part of the book of Revelation is like, yes, and then Satan has been cast down. And was held with a chain for 1,000 years. And then he rose up again, and then we fought him down, and there was a peaceful, so there's like a jubilee of 1,000 years, and you got to fight him off again. This is every Hollywood movie. You think you killed the vampire, you think you killed the zombie, but he pops back up again, and there's the sequel, and you have to fight him off again. Like, no, that is not what is going to happen. So, sorry, here, let me turn that down. That Cheeky is laying her head on the electric guitar noise, and that is making, interesting music. So no, you are not supposed to have to exit this realm of intense hell and suffering into a slightly more expanded, but yet mediocre realm of experience, where there can still be disease because you're going to need these med beds. There's still economy. Who's going to pay for the med beds? Do you understand? It's a lockdown. It is not freedom. And my collective, the Star Collective, this is all about freedom. What they want to do to this planet is have you be very dependent, but just on a slightly more sophisticated level of technology, and never have access to your true technology, which is your fucking body. Once you get that light coming into your body, you don't need a stupid med bed. Oh my God. Yeah, so I've been experiencing profound healings, even just from these little blips that make me understand, yeah, you don't need any kind of stupid thing. You don't need a tuning fork. You don't need anything. You just need light. You just need light to come inside of you. You just need to eat light and have access to enough light. So the idea that they're going to titrate the light, that they're going to slowly dole it out, they're going to titrate the ascension. It's all an inappropriate, horrible power trip. Think about that. Think about who is doing this. We're all stars that came into this beshrouded level of existence. And they are not stars. They are poop from a bunch of brown dwarfs. They are personality characteristics that are aberrant. They're like the understudy who is jealous of you guys, the stars. That's what that brown dwarf is. It is like, oh, I'm not actually good enough to really sing, emit light. But I'm going to wait here in the wings. And maybe if I wish hard enough, you'll fall down the stairs and then maybe I can take your place on stage. That's what these fucking assholes are trying to do. So, hey, like, anybody on earth who says, I'm a starseed, I'm an Andromedan, I'm a Pleiadian, they are fucking assholes too. And I'm sorry to say that because there's a lot of people who want to suck Pleiadian dick. They want it. They want the med beds and the zero energy devices and all of these stupid trinkets. My dog is getting very upset. She must lick my face. She's like, don't be upset. Don't be upset. Look, she's like concerned. She's like, it's okay. Don't worry. Yes, Cheeky is a valiant warrior. She will wiggle bottom no matter what. We will be happy. We will make it through. Thank you, madam. Thank you, Commander Cheeky. You're doing a very good job here. Yeah, let me go a little bit more. So the chemtrails are also about creating an apparatus inside of you and making the raw materials available to make you a type of circuitry. Lisa says, I think this might be the space fence. I think they say they built it to track satellites in space debris. Absolutely. Space fence is part of it. So their satellite is part of the frequency. And solar array. We love you, babes. We love you. And as I said, so much more. There's so much more. I don't pretend to know about it because I'm down here in the fish tank with you guys. I can barely see what is going on. They turned off the mind ray for 1 second and I could see a little bit. I couldn't see everything, but I understood that it was so much more than what I had been thinking. I had been thinking it was just obscuring your vision. It's doing so much more than that. It is a literal mind control ray, like beep, 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 beep. Jackie says, if they're feeding on negative energy and have the methods and modes to create higher levels of negative energy, how might they go about it? Chemtrails, GMOs, social and cultural upheaval, sensory deprivation. It's like shoving everyone into solitary confinement. What they want to do is put everyone in the 5G prison. That's what I understood profoundly from my recent visit to Ventura. They just want to deploy 5G and keep everyone in a completely locked down prison. And then maybe some people get to have some ascension experiences, but they get to be completely managed. So I think that they wanted me to be like some kind of a pet or something like that, because they were giving me all this narrative that everything, it reminded me a lot of QAnon. It reminded me a lot. And every time I reject it from QAnon, I reject it from these people. I'm like, no, they actually have to have a real trial. And also, what is the law of the land? Like there's cosmic law and there's human law. And if we are adjudicating this, clearly there's been, whatever crimes of both levels. There's crimes that are karmic crimes or cosmic law crimes. And then there's crimes that are human crimes. Like jaywalking, that's a human crime. That's not a cosmic law crime. Well, you know something? In some places, it might be legal to eat your child, but that is a cosmic crime. It might be legal according to human law, but that is not legal according to the cosmic law, all right? So it doesn't really matter if you have a bunch of crazy, stupid human laws that say, hey, it's perfectly legal to cut off your child's penis. That's horrible. That is horrible. And it's against cosmic law. So when we're talking about, what's fair and what's going to happen to people, there's, two different levels. But if you say, hey, if a person committed a crime in the human level that is considered punishable by death, punish them by death. That's it. You do the crime, you do the time. What they wanted to be like, well, how about we just give everybody life imprisonment and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, that is really not appropriate to the law of the land. And you know what they used to do with people who did treason? They used to have them hanged, drawn, and quartered. So they didn't hang them first, like dead. They just hanged them a little. They didn't hang them a lot. They just hanged them a little to make them hurt. And then they did other things to him to make him hurt worse. And then they finally killed him. So just killing someone for treason, like that's considered in this civilization to be the more civilized version. And we are talking about United Kingdom, Anglo-Saxon origins of United States law. That goes back to Great Britain, guys, and you can look it all up, hanged, drawn, and quartered. So yeah, if you commit treason. So this is all about, it became very clear to me as just from touching these guys a little bit. So what would a truly benevolent space species do? If you got control of the levers and you're like, wow, I can turn off the mind control ray. Let me turn this shit off so that everybody can think for themselves. And it's like, well, wait, if I have to turn off do I have to turn off all the power grid to do this? So that was the idea of Northern California. But what they didn't do here in Southern California, they didn't turn off the grid. They just replaced one mind control ray for another mind control ray. So what it showed me was that they have the capacity to completely remove the mind control immediately. They chose not to. They chose to keep a different overlay. They took out the first one, they put in a different one, and the different one was a false ascension, where basically they would be portrayed as heroes. The fleet came in and saved the planet, and we sucked their dicks, and then what? Then they take over. Do you get it? They're not going to say, oh, humans, oh, I'm happy I saved you from that boogeyman. Now you guys take care of yourself. No, of course not. They're going to titrate your ascension. They're going to try to take over everything. They're going to say, you're not mature enough to do this. How about I just do this for you? You don't really know what you're doing. How about I just do this for you? Well, how about you guys just sit there peacefully and I just do this blah, 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 blah for you. And none of it was a real realm either, because we're moving into mind-created realms. None of it was a real realm. It's all a virtual reality. So Earth is going to get killed. They're going to harvest you into a virtual reality fantasy land that is not actually a truthful place. But when I say killed, I don't mean killed. I mean, there's going to be a huge solar expansion that affects Earth and the entire solar system and the stars everywhere. All of the stars are going to lasagna. And I know that's spoiler alert, but I think it's appropriate. Okay. Lisa says, I also live in California, Los Angeles, and on Sunday when I woke up, my face was aching under my eyes. This has never happened before. Yeah. And so what they did after I realized that this is false ascension, and I completely rejected them and, changed my perspective and began to analyze my experience a bit more, then not only did I not feel those consciousness lifting waves, but I felt them blocking them out. And I don't want you to think, oh no, the technologists are more, they can block out the sun and now we're all going to die and we can't get our light food and what are we going to do? I don't want you to think that. But I want you to understand that they gave the dribs and drabs, and they're like, oh no, these fuckers are catching on. We better turn it off completely. They are never gonna let that light through. They are never, so here are things that are never gonna happen, that these like horrible controllers that have taken over the government, they've invaded, they've been, why didn't Trump stop the chemtrails? All of these questions, why didn't Trump stop the vaccine? All of the past 3 years has been a delay campaign. Everything from QAnon to every single amount of paperwork that is supposed to drop that never actually drops. We're waiting on D-Class, we're waiting on FISA. Guess what, guys? All of the information about the FISA abuses was available 3 years ago. Information about even more profound surveillance crimes was available 3 years ago for anyone who comes to me and says, oh, but this guy had to be removed, and this guy had to be removed, this had to change, this had to change. You are a victim of the delay tactics by the Rock'em Sock'em robots that wanted nothing more than to bring you to this point where you have totally skipped, you have missed the bus. The Ascension bus has left. You were not exposed to any of the light that you needed to eat, and now you are totally fucked. And what they want to offer you is two options. Oblivion, like a giant wave of tsunami of energy comes into you and you get fried because you're totally not ready because you haven't been going through these gradual uplift stages, or enter into my virtual reality magical fantasy land where beautiful, benevolent extraterrestrials shepherd your mind into ascension. They'll create a world that's still a material reality. It's still a material reality running on physical laws, and we are supposed to transcend the physical. We are not supposed to have physical bodies. We're not supposed to have physical experience. So what we are supposed to do is move into the non-physical in this experience. And that's what I'm thinking, well, if this is the ascension, like, why am I still wearing my contact lenses? This is the question you have to ask yourself so that you don't get taken into the wrong direction. So if people have not been doing their exercises, and if a giant wave comes to this planet, and if they're not prepared, that is too bad. People in this class have been doing their exercises and learning about this. And there's some people that don't do YouTube and they never ever heard of me. And I'm sure that they're doing their exercises too. It's not just that it's in this class, but it's like there's very, very few people that have actually been preparing for this. And no, it's not going to be like, well, you're going to get Bitcoin and that's going to be your money. And that's the next lie is quantum computer. A quantum computer is going to have a quantum banking system, and then it's all going to be fair, and the good guys are going to get money and the bad guys aren't going to get money. That is the lockdown. That is it. And you're like, I don't want to live in a 5G prison, so I would go into a somewhat more expanded level of reality that is still just a total fucking nightmare. That's what's being offered to people. Oblivion or a technological nightmare that just extends your consciousness. You don't want to just extend your consciousness. You want to actually have things happen that are right. So that was a big rant. Let me go to more questions. Angel says, what day did your experience occur on? It was on Friday and Saturday. That were these like very elevated states. She says, I've been having lots of communication with galactic beings who claim to be guides as of recently. Should I not trust them? Angel, I would say that you have to determine for yourself whether something is food or poop. Like you have to taste it with yourself. Like I cannot determine it for you. And so I would only say like, you know, if there's yellow caution flags or things that don't seem right, then you have to go with that. And it is totally up to your own assessment. That's the only ethical thing I can say. And also what I found after Saturday and Sunday elevated experiences, then they're like, oh, I'm like, fuck this. This doesn't seem like the real ascension at all. Then they came down very, very hard with a negative frequency that felt horrible. And on those days, the ascension light was coming, but the evil ones were blocking it out with horrible, loud, heavy metal music. And it felt like a punishment. And it felt vindictive. It felt totally like, you know, like you're a naughty, you're naughty in your cage, you know, you're not being good, and this is what you get because of that. And also I felt like my natural telepathy and ability to connect with you guys was blocked out. So this is the problem, that they are trying to inhibit the ascension, they're trying to draw off energy from it, and that usually I can fly in rainbow lasagna and I can telepathically connect with members of this class and close friends. And there were times when I was not able to do that, like in the past couple of days. And we also yesterday, where I live, had a complete blanketing of the sky. Very, very rare. Where I live, sometimes there's a couple of lines in the sky, sometimes there's a little bit, there's hardly any clouds. That's why I live here. And yesterday, the complete blockage of the sun, and also horrible, horrible frequency assaults, like total the antithesis of Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, Rainbow's agreeing about the sun simulator privately. Carla says, what dates did this happen? I was just saying Friday and Saturday of this past week. Susan says, thank you, Aurora, for giving the rationale of these recent energies. I felt it too, but did not know why. Wait. We want to go back to Eleanor was saying something way back here. I think I missed this. Oh, this was Eleanor. I hope it's okay that I share this. This was before our class was just getting started. And she says, greetings, just sharing. I've been experiencing actual war on my consciousness lately, needing to be very still to discern. Not take on, destroy if I can, remove energy from. Thought it was personal ego stuff triggered by the energy waves, but sensed it was actual attacks. Thank you for that confirmation. That is really good to know. This is what the war is. So the war is more than just the idea that you can be, you know, shot with a laser or exploded or have some other thing like that happen to you. The war is also the sense that your consciousness can be victimized, or your willpower can be superseded, or something else can try to come along, put itself inside of you and do whatever it wants. Just like the fucking crappy tendrils of the brown dwarf or the failed star. Instead of brown dwarf, let's call it failed star. Failed for a reason star. Crappy crapola music. Not good intelligent energy. That's it, guys. Like, you guys got to understand. You're living in a world that is a totally inverted world. That's not a meritocracy. But the natural world, this world of the sun and the stars, is a meritocracy. You get to be a star because you're fucking good at what you do. And if you're a failed star, it's because you're not fucking good. You did not pass the audition. And this thing hangs out without enough energy of its own. When you have passed the audition, you have all the energy that you need. You can play on your own. You can play with a friend. You can do whatever you need to do. This guy has no energy, has no creativity, has no nothing, and goes around stealing from others. So this is a big cleansing that has to happen. Because I say muddy footprints all the time. It's not just cleaning up muddy footprints. Let's say, back to my analogy of in your room, like in your bathroom, do you want to have your room covered in, you know, unhealthy microbes? No, you don't. So you can spray the whole entire thing with Clorox, but then you're killing some of the good guys. Like there's some beneficial microbes that you're killing too. You're just sterilizing everything. That's acceptable to do. But what you can do is selectively choose. What if you can send out a ray, an algorithm, an intention, a song that says, I am going to selectively kill all of the fucking muddy footprint makers because I am very bored with spending my whole entire existence as a star brain or as an embodied human fighting off pathogens, because my life is about way more than using my creative energy to fight off pathogens, which is what we've been expected to do our whole entire life here, and which is what this solar brain, this star brain, has been doing over and over and over again. Like, no, it is not your job to be punched in the face over and over. It is not the star's job to be punched in the face over and over. These are attacks, absolutely, that are happening, and the attacks are attacks that are magnetic. That's the best way I can say it, is force fields. You're being assaulted with force fields. So this is a lot because most people think about projectiles. You are afraid of projectiles hitting you. These are not projectiles hitting you, these are force fields. And it is very difficult to perceive them, and you can't trust any of the scientific instruments that are on a website that say, this is what Earth's magnetosphere, this is magnetopause, the this, the that. Like, you guys, like, you got to understand that's all manipulated. You can't go by that. You can go by what you feel. And everything that's been hidden from us, from your physical view. Okay. I just want to make, okay, yes. Drinking some more, hold on. Now I'm going back to this. Okay, Sharon's saying we are the meteorite because we were talking about something that would smash all of this technology. That is exactly it. You know, a lot of this experience that we've been going through is highly personal, and I did not feel the need up until this point to really share it on this level with everyone who I'm connected to through the class. It felt more like, you know, something for to tell it with a friend. I think that what is happening, I think why we are a class, why we meet together, why we share these ideas and offer what amount of inspiration and support we can to one another is because we are supposed to be superseding these limitations as a collective, as all of us, but that does not mean everyone on this planet. That's why I said, hey, if you think like you're a Pleiadian starseed or whatever, like seriously, go jump out a window, go suck a dick, whatever. That you are identifying with a technology species. And if you are doing that, you are not a part of this natural unfoldment. Let's go, do I still have this drawing available? What's the natural unfoldment? I drew the star brain. It's the star brain becoming lasagna. It's why we came into these limited forms. Let's draw lasagna around there. Came into these limited forms so that this whole entire thing could get to be a higher dimensional version of self and could do all sorts of more fun and interesting things than be assaulted by failed stars all the time. So what is happening and what is ongoing? Like, don't fall for the false ascension. What is the real ascension? It is a complete removal of technology from the body, the organism that is the stars. No more technology anywhere, not just on our planet or in our solar system. No more technology anywhere. So if you're a Pleiadian, you're like, well, I got to use technology to make my babies. That you ain't going to make any more babies. And Pleiadians are like, well, wait, I need to make more babies. No, you do not need to make more babies. Pleiadians came from these horrible beings that are addicted to technology. And the only reason why they can be in existence is because of technology. Like, as you start to look down the time tunnel, you can start to see where people come from. Where did you come from? Oh, you came from technology. Well, you're an aberration and you're not supposed to fucking exist. Okay? So there are beings that are not supposed to exist. The only reason they can exist is because technology created them. And some of them are like, you know, the French bulldogs that have to be born by cesarean section. They cannot be born naturally. The Pleiadians want to manage your ascension because they cannot imagine being born naturally. They cannot imagine a natural, beautiful unfoldment between planet, star, and inhabitant of planet. They can only imagine some, whatever cesarean section that cuts things open. It's gross and disgusting and invasive and horribly wrong, okay? Pedro says, can you go past the membrane? Oh, we're talking about the membrane of death. So you cannot go past the membrane. Like if this is the flowing membrane, energy flowing here, but energy also flowing here. Let's talk about the different directions you can flow on the membrane. I picked up the wrong thing. I picked up this. Show this. How can you flow on the membrane of death? You can go, here's the singularity. You can go out from the singularity and then vortex your way back on up. That's one pathway, right? Now let's talk about hitting the membrane of, wait, that's an ascension pathway. Now let's do hitting the membrane of death. You get born, you come out here. Oh, look, I'm going in the wrong direction. I'm hitting the membrane of death. Hit the membrane of death. And then what you can do is circulate all the way back around like this and get back to there. But you can't do that if there's poop over here. Oh, look, I'm pesky occupiers. Ooh, 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 ooh. I can't go all the way there because there's pesky occupiers shielding themselves from the light of truth. So then what's another alternative you can do? Well, this is a two-way street. So what you can do is hit the membrane of death over here and then go up this way and find a different pathway to be able to get back to the source. So one big question, like I don't think that I ever answered adequately to my own understanding. So I'm like trying to make it more clear here. Can you ascend from the membrane of death? Like I have said, you hit the membrane of death, you should just melt away and start again. Can you ascend from the membrane of death? And the answer is you can, if you can get to there, which is where the singularity is. You guys also have to see, you may not always be able to see this like in the lighting, but I have this feature on my forehead that is very prominent at this point in our development. Like it has developed several times over my existence here as Aurora, and this is one of the most prominent times. And I bring it to your attention because the lighting usually doesn't show it. But yeah, this is also part of this cosmic egg timer. Like this is part of what is happening. There's a reason why that is standing forward so much on my face right now. And it has stood forward at other times and it got harvested. The energy was rising, and the energy got harvested. It was like around 2006 or so. Because remember, guys, I tell you all the time, I thought I would be out of here by 2003. I thought that it would be a nice incline and then boom, 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 boom. And it did. It was up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Like none of that is natural. And also it causes an incredible amount of suffering. So benevolent species would never make you go up, down, up, down. All of that is energy harvested. Yes, you can ascend from the membrane of death. If you hit the membrane of death here, and then you are able to go find one of the pathways that goes up in this direction and go up to here. Or, you might have to go all the way around here, but there's all of these blockages, fatty blockages. If we can clear the fatty blockages. So believe me, I've been doing a lot of lasagna work of clearing the fatty blockages on the membranes so that all of these impulses can get to where they need to go. And so here, the big takeaway that I wanted to share with this drawing is that this singularity, science is talking about it as a melding of human and machine. That would be like taking your consciousness into the virtual reality fantasy land that is created by or run by these not benevolent asshole technology using extraterrestrials, because otherwise you would die. They're like, oh, look, there's going to be a solar flash. They know there's going to be a solar flash. This is not a secret at all. Big, it's like, what? The sun doesn't hide things. Like when you're the sun, you don't have to hide shit. You don't have to hide. You're right there in the sky. Everything is evident. That's what I'm telling you. The higher dimensional realm, everything is written on you. You don't have to hide anything. It's all right there. So it's not a secret that this is going to happen. These non-benevolent beings that are trying to manage this ascension technologically, they're like, oh, well, you're just going to get fried because they blocked out all of the information that would have helped you to get up to speed. That's why people are going to get fried. And you know something? That's what's going to happen. It's not, now we'll get to this, and I sound a little bit, whatever about this. Is it my job to make sure that nobody gets fried? They blocked out 3 years worth of energy. And we also should talk about time scale, because the area that they're blocking out, things move faster in the other area. Wait, things move faster in the other area. Yeah. Over here, we'll use this little area over here. So there's this spot over here, which is tons of solar energy. And then there's this area over here that's been blocked out, and the area where it's blocked out. So let's say, okay, our time rate is like 1 day that's moving along like this. Oh, 1 day just went by. That was the hands of a clock. Hands of a clock went around the clock. Oh, 1 day just went by, okay? But over here, if this is a clock, as this 1 day is going by, millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions, millions of years are fucking going by. There is a time dilation phenomenon that is happening as a result of this barrier that is being deployed here. So it's not just that you're having a bad morning. You are having a bad morning that lasts for 10 million millennia. You're not just stuck in traffic for 1 hour. You are stuck in traffic for a millennia. You got it, guys? They are wringing as much fucking suffering as they can from humanity as this ascension is going on. Because what's supposed to happen is, you're supposed to have no blockage here, and all the light is going on here. So as this place is speeding up, this place is speeding up too. And what's happening is this place is speeding up over here, but this place over here is going slow because you're not getting all the light that you're supposed to get. And that is a bunch of fucking bullshit. And that is wrong. And that is not okay. And no one benevolent would ever do that. They're not helping you by blocking this out. So they blocked this out for 3 years. Now you're out of sync with the rest of the universe, cosmos, for lack of a better word, whatever. These guys are going like, oh, we're super, 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 super fast. And these guys are going like, bum, bum, bum. Very, very, very fucking slow, because they blocked this light out for 3 years. So they're like, well, you're going so slow because you blocked out this light. We don't want you to be fried. We're going to be fried because you blocked out this light. What do? You remove that barrier? Well, yes, the people who are going slow, who can't get up to speed, yes, they're going to get fried. And that does not sound very nice coming from you. That sounds very, heartless. Like, oh no, Aurora, don't you love everyone? Don't you want everyone? No, the truth is that this is a refinery of consciousness, and that some people have done the work and are ready to run the marathon. And this is what running the marathon is. It's why I'm directing this information to the people in my class that have already been doing the work. Pedro comes here every class, I'm naming people by name, but like, I have Evelyn, she's been in this class for like 6 years. Like, there are people who watch as much as they possibly can. There are people who watch on YouTube, even if they never formally, paid a Patreon fee or anything like that. Like, you guys are the guys that are ready to be flooded with light. And the truth is, there's a lot of filler here. There's a lot of beings who only are here as the end result of some technological intervention. They might be clones or synthetic replicants, or they might actually be embodied biological humans that can only exist as the end result of the distortion of the time field. So I don't want you to say like, oh no, Aurora's just using fantastical thinking to say that they're not really real people and they're not really going to die. No. To clarify, what I'm saying instead is that a lot of the people who are here never supposed to be here. They're aberrations. And that doesn't mean that you're supposed to get a machete and chop off their heads. I make that all very clear. Like, the answer is not your personal violence. That's why I don't do those things. But the answer is, as this solar flash happens, as this great brain thinks a new thought, those beings with those personality characteristics cannot make that quantum leap into the new reality. They cannot make that leap. They did not pass the audition. So it is just very appropriate. It's literally a meritocracy, the way it's supposed to be. And I want you to know this so that you know, like, when you do it, like you're supposed to do it. You've been doing your work, you've earned it, you deserve it. And the people that did not do their work are failed stars. They did not do it. And they're not going to hang around like crab nebulins giving everybody cancer. That's not going to happen. All of this, not only the muddy footprints are being cleaned up, but the origins of the disease are being cleaned up, so that the solar brain will not have to be constantly fighting off pathogens that are in a nightmare over and over and over again. Can actually finally live like a good life. Ines says, Aurora, I do not understand yet how they can harvest high ascension energy when they are themselves in a lower energetic state. Normally higher frequencies overrule lower frequencies. Also, I understood they prefer negative energies. How can they harvest them? I read recently that they put this shield because they are afraid of our strong positive emotions. I see you're also very positively charged now. Maybe this is the suitable way up. So what the evil beings do is they have a shield. Like the sun is coming like this. They're like, I'm going to hold up a shield so that the light doesn't actually come to me, because the light itself is transformative. That's like, it makes you different, makes you metamorphosize. Little tiny blips of light made me metamorphosize on a profound level. Inner healing and inner understanding. And those are tiny crumbs of light. Okay? So these beings do not want to metamorphosize. They don't want to see their own mistakes. Let me just do this and then I'll talk more. As the light of awareness came to me and my life was illuminated and I looked at it, and this is similar to life review, but you don't have to think of yourself as dead, but this is similar to life review. I was not only not ashamed of what I had experienced here, I was very happy and proud to display it. Just like if you make nice artwork, you say, I painted this and I did it. I did a good job. Look, this part looks good. This part looks good. Good, I did a good job. Yeah, that is how I felt about my life. I didn't feel the need to hide any parts of my painting. I didn't feel like, oh, just don't look at this part over here. Like, just black that out. So these beings that are feeding off of the ascension energy, they don't want the ascension energy to actually touch them either. So they do a lot of shielding so that they don't actually find out what pieces of shit they are. That's how they can walk around saying, I'm a benevolent alien, not a piece of shit, because they block it out. But guess what's been happening? Flying rainbow lasagna, get that energy over their shield. And then they're like, well, actually, I'm kind of a piece of shit. It's like, yeah, you can't not know that. So that's what's happening. So, and how do they feed off? Yeah, they need a lower level of energy. So if their energy, let me turn it up. Their energy is like this. No, if ascension energy is up here, they're like, oh, I can't eat that note. It's too high. Let's bring that note. Let's bring that down to here. Oh, I can eat that energy. So that's what the harvest is. Like your energy is going up. They're like, okay, let's go up this high, but then bring it down here. And that's what I felt. Here's a little example of it. Like I was feeling very happy and very elated and very good. And I wanted to bathe. Like I didn't necessarily feel like I wanted to eat or drink in terms of body care, but I definitely wanted to like bathe and like wash my hair and like, you know, put on skin oils. And my shower has had like a clog, like it's a slow drain. Water's going slow. And the water was coming like up my feet. And it just felt like, I'm so like this is so horrible. And it's just so bad. It's making me so unhappy. Like it's just a few inches of water in the tub, but it was the harvesting. It was the, oh, like life is so great and I'm feeling so wonderful and everything. And they're like, but there's 2 inches of water in the tub. Like this is like crushing downward. That is what they do. They take your very, very high good feelings and then find a way to siphon it off. And it can be from a stupid thing like 2 inches of water in the tub, or it can be whatever thing it is. And how do they do it? They themselves occupy chakras. They're like parasites in the chakra system. So what they do is they're like, oh, you're feeling so great. Well, how about if I just violently jerk you to the side, violently jerk you over here? And that's what they do. And the shower tub is just a ruse. It doesn't matter what the thing is. It could be the bagel is a little stale. The bagel is a little stale. All of a sudden you're in tears. No, it's that the energy has been siphoned off. And so what each one of us needs to do is try to guard our energy in the most way that you possibly can. And yes, I guard my energy and I'm doing very well with that. And I feel it when they try to fuck with me and I do not allow it. So I would encourage everyone to just do that. And Pedro says, lasagna warriors, and that is exactly what you are. Yes. Carlos says, but what do we do? I knew that you guys would ask that. It's the same thing we do every day. This is like the making of the donuts. You know, that's an old commercial. But I use these pop culture references. Nobody gets them. It's time to make the donuts. That's what he does every morning. Time to make the donuts. I dance like a lasagna every day. So here's another one of the yellow caution flags that were waving for me. They told me, you don't have to dance the lasagna anymore. You're here. You're ascending. You're doing it. They're like, you don't have to dance. It's my practice. I do it every day. I mean, I do it if it's bad weather conditions, if it's good weather conditions. I do it because I do it. It's like painting paintings. But they're like, oh no, you've reached this level. Like you don't have to dance that anymore. And I think that it's like falsely telling an athlete, like you've broken the tape. Like you didn't make it to the finish line, but they tell you, oh, you broke the tape. You're done. You don't have to run anymore. Like, no, it's a marathon. We have to keep going. They're like, oh no, the marathon is over. So that was another yellow caution flag that I hadn't really reached these higher heights, but they were telling me, oh yeah, Yeah, you don't have to dance the lasagna anymore. I think that they did not want me to dance the lasagna. So when Carla's question, what do we do? What do we do? The answer is nothing left for me to do but dance off these bad times I'm going through. Just dance. Hey, dance the lasagna. Dance the lasagna, guys. It is literally the only sane choice that is available to each one of us. Because this is not a war that you fight physically with projectile objects. This is a war that you fight with your magnetic field. Dance with your magnetic field. This is called flying rainbow lasagna. Okay? That is the only thing to do. You dance with your flying rainbow lasagna magnetic field. And that is a profound, transformative, like you can fuck with them way more than they can fuck with you. Okay, that's all I'll say on that. I was trying to find the right words. I hope that the energy came through. Ines says, see, in many religious scripts, they always sell you a wrong message. You are not yet ready to experience the full spectrum light. The opposite is the case. By believing this, they keep us in the prison of limited possibilities. Thank you so much for that comment. I really, really agree. I think there's a great deal of paternalism in religions. Everything from seeing the embodiment of the human face, like a bearded sky god, bearded man in the sky daddy, who's going to tell us all what to do. And what does the Christian religion tell us? So it's in a flawed way. It says, bearded sky god will return, and then we will have a real adjudication of justice. That it must be the return of an embodied king-like being, and then we will have actual justice. And that is another waiting program, just like QAnon. Keep waiting. Monday's going to be a big news day. Monday's always going to be a big news day. Jesus is always going to return. Bearded Sky God is always going to return. It's always going to just about to happen. I'm not mocking your religion. I am deriding the way that religion or QAnon or any of these is a psyop that is disempowering, keeps you constantly off balance because you're constantly reaching for the future and never empowered in yourself. So what we really need to do is dance the reality where all of the mind control grid is completely turned off, where that blockade is completely instantaneously removed, knowing that even if you yourself, you are ready to play with the band, not everybody is ready to play with the band. And it is not appropriate to have to wait and not have a band because everybody ain't ready. So this is this big thing, QAnon. Is always trying to tell you that you got to make memes and red pill and normies, all these different things. You have to hammer on people's minds. You have to somehow make them change. No, you do not. You do not at all. You only need to focus on your own marathon running. Run your own marathon. You do not have to convince anybody else. At this point, anybody who's done their inner work and their training is ready for this. And if they have not done their inner work and their training, it is not appropriate for them to hold back the rest of the class that is ready to run. And I think it is hugely self-centered to say that. To say like, well, hey, I've wasted 18 years of my life. Will you guys please wait for my convenience? That is totally inappropriate. And who would do that? I would not do that. I'd be like, oh, wait, I had 18 years to prepare for this and I didn't do that. Like, well, I guess I have to take responsibility for wasting 18 years and not actually doing something with that time. And what you want to say, why did I do something with my time and they didn't do something with their time? Great mystery. My answer is great mystery. I don't know why some people never did shit and sat on the couch and ate potato chips the whole time. I don't know why some people drank a beer. I don't know why some people watch sports. Like literally, you're going to illuminate some people's lives. What did you spend the majority of your time doing? Like if you cut out like the sleeping in bed footage, the brushing your teeth footage, all boring, self-care and stuff like that, scrubbing the dishes. Yes, you spent that much time scrubbing the dishes. And then what do? Spend time in front of the TV like this. A lot of people spent their whole life in front of the TV like this. I don't know why. Great mystery, but they did not train for the marathon, but some people did. And this might sound harsh. I told this, we were joking before I got started, and someone said, this is the raw lasagna. This is the raw lasagna. Raw lasagna. I've been very, very nice. I've been very, very accommodating. When I first came here, like a kindergarten teacher, children were going to learn this. It's going to be so great. It's like, it's 18 years. Like if that's literally enough time to grow to maturity. If you didn't do this over 18 years, like you ain't gonna. That's the whole point. So in the little dribs and drabs that came to me, it became very clear. This was literally one of these experiences, like giant stellar energy coming in, and I'm having this conversation about whether there should be actual trials or what level of justice would be acceptable, or if it's okay just to sweep things under the carpet and move on to, an ascension, like non-physical, a blissful, I should say, move on to a blissful, happy experience. And after I, came out of those higher levels, I looked at technology, which is again, like, I'm like, why am I, like, if I'm ascending, like, why am I looking on technology to look at things? Like, I should just know things. I shouldn't have to look on the computer to see the articles, but I see the article. It says, paperwork's been delayed, was supposed to come out this Friday, was supposed to come out tomorrow, but now it's been delayed to the end of the month. Like, that's the destabilization. Always keeping you off balance, always keeping you waiting for the next thing while you eat your popcorn, while you are placed in a consciousness prison. That's it. And there's no more days. There's no more like, well, let's fix this next Tuesday. No, they're already putting you in the prison right now, today. They put you in the prison yesterday. They've been putting you in the prison for the past week. They've been putting you in the prison for the past week, everyone. That's what the turning up the frequencies, in Ventura was about. That's what this fake ascension was about. So on the plus side, what I can report is if they're rolling out fake ascension, then they are really, really desperate because they don't got any more bullets. Like, once you do that, that's the last bullet in your gun. Okay. I'm sure the algorithm will flag me because I just said bullet and gun. Yeah, they are totally shit out of luck and they know it. And they're going to have to face all of their own everything as light floods through everything. Like, they can't hold it back anymore. So the big, big third takeaway is the sun, the stars, the stellar network is what I'm trying to say with my mouth. Stellar network trumps everything. Sorry, I used the word Trump. Stellar network supersedes everything. Stellar network makes it all happen. Showed you this painting. Show you this painting again. It's a good painting. Great. Sorry. Fiddling with technology. This painting. This is powered by the sun and the earth. These guys are observers watching this happen. They do not power it. They are not part of it. Think of this like cosmic lovemaking. Like, at best, they are voyeurs watching something happen. They are not part of this conception. And the conception, what happens, just like when a sperm meets an egg, there's this amazing expansion moment. That expansion moment totally fucks these technology users, and it should happen. It is what is supposed to happen. Richard says, how do our prayers get through to divinity? Well, one of the answers that I have to that is, unfortunately, many prayers are siphoned off by the evil users of technology because they are very sophisticated with emotional energy. And if you pray to Jesus, even if you are trying to pray to true Christ, but if you say, I pray to Jesus, blah, 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 and send all of your energy and devotion to that, they'll be like, yoink, I'll just eat your little Jesus wafer because I think of myself as Jesus. The mentality of the beings that are blocking out the sun, they literally stand between you and the sun and they say, I am God. Really, imagine that God was behind my head. Real God was behind my head. I should put like a light behind, like, do it. Let's see if we can make this work on camera, lighting and everything like that. What if this light is really God, okay, behind my head? But I'm standing in front of it saying, I'm God. I'm God. No, these are what these evil asshole aliens are doing. They're not God. They're totally blockading divinity. They're blockading the light. And what if I was like, I'll give you this much. Boop. I'll give you this much. Boop. I'm so benevolent. I'm giving you the light. And I think of myself as an angel. I'm a messenger of the light. I take God's light and I bring it to you. There's no reason in the world for them to be there because it could be just like this. I'm sorry if I blind everyone. I'm being blinded by the light. Blinded by the light. We don't want to go into that. There's questionable lyrics in that song. Don't go in there. All joking aside, yeah, because they stand in front of God's true light, and because they have created or incepted these religious control systems on this planet, they even think of themselves as angels and Jesus. So if you pray to angels, or you pray to saints, or you pray to Jesus, these interveners that are not benevolent, that are total asshole poop, they take your prayers, yoink, and they say, I will eat that prayer because you were praying to me. You weren't actually praying to God. You weren't actually praying to the source of consciousness and pure light and something that is more abstract. You were praying to Jesus. You were praying to a bunch of angels. And we wrote the Bible, and we're actually the angels and the Jesus of the Bible. So you're actually praying to us. We're a space race. And we're going to take your prayers. They do that all the time. I'm very, very, very sorry to say that they do that all the time. So this is another reason, like if you read QAnon says pray, pray, pray. That's like Emit, emit, emit. We want to eat, eat, eat. We're hungry, hungry, hungry. It's horrible. It is a horrible manipulation. Here's another, like, yellow caution flag. If you're like, okay, who's a good alien, who's an evil alien? Evil aliens fucking manipulate you. Evil humans fucking manipulate you, okay? Good people don't have to be manipulative. Like, if you're good, you don't have to sell someone on the idea. You don't have to hold up a fake mask and portray yourself in one way to get people to do what you want them to do. You don't have to be like, I'll give you a dangling carrot, and if I do this and do this and do this. You don't have to fucking manipulate people. Evil people fucking manipulate people. So the next question Richard was saying about, do we need a master such as Jesus or Buddha to carry them to source? No, no, no. You do not need any intermediaries to carry your prayers to source. So let's say this. Photons are self-intelligent. And when you pray, you emit photons. They know where to fucking go. They don't need any help to get there. And the idea that they need help is disgusting. It's like saying that it's stupid, saying light is stupid. Light is the source of intelligence. It knows exactly where to fucking go. I'm not cursing at you. I am cursing at the beings that would ever want to stand between you, that would implant that idea in you. And asking me how I pray. How do I pray? I pray by flying rainbow lasagna-ing with the sun. And when I need something to happen, like if I say, well, this person is sick over here, ordinarily you would say, I pray to God for them to get well. What I would do instead is I would include that intention in my connection with the sun and the stars in doing the flying rainbow lasagna dance. Like, if we're going to dance a reality into being, let's dance a reality into being where that girl gets healthy again. Somebody needs help in their GoFundMe so they don't get evicted. I'm going to put that into my dance instead of verbally supplicating myself to a sky god and saying, sky god, please, oh please, give this lady enough money for her rent. What I'll do is I'll dance that into being. And that's what we all can do for each other. We can all dance these better lives, better existences into being for one another. Angel says, aren't there truly benevolent space races? Yes, I'm one of them. And multidimensional beings, yes, I'm one of them and want to help humanity. Yes, yes, I'm here. But the other guys are blocked out by the space fence. It is very, very difficult for them to get through. It's hard for them to get through to me. It's hard for them to get through to you. So when the space fence or whatever blockades, whatever has been temporarily down, that's when I've been able to get this information that I'm sharing with you. Information about the shields on the membrane of death, the shields that are shielding the malevolent users of technology who present themselves as benevolent, the profound alien con, which I've perceived and wanted to, give cautionary tales against, did not understand that those beings were literally blocking out the ascension via technology, that they were titrating your ascension. Did not understand that until they got turned down a little bit. So this is what it's like to be here in this world where everything is obscured. Like, I come from that stellar network. I've been down here with you guys for 18 years. So that's like I haven't gotten the news for 18 years. I haven't really been able to know what's really fucking going on for 18 years. And I get my energy and my nutrition from an internal connection to the divine and try to send that out to others. But my viewpoint and the news that has gotten here has been one skinny little red line. Very, very, very little energy and information has gotten here. Even with me flying rainbow lasagna around and up and over all of these different things. There's so much. Like, what I can't even get across in words is how bad the frequency here makes you feel. Our regular state, like how I feel right now, how most people feel right now, like, this is bad. This is not good. Like, if they in the hospital chart, they give you a hospital chart, like smiley face to like dying face, right? Like, where would you be on the hospital chart? Like, most of us right now would be the smiling face. I'm smiling and everything. This, according to the cosmic chart, is like the worst feeling in the world. And when you just get that shit turned off a little bit, you feel so amazing that you think you are on a fucking drug. You're not on a drug. You are on natural energy. That is how you are supposed to feel all the time. And people are drug seekers at this level of mentality because it is such a degraded level of mentality. This is not how we are supposed to feel. So people walk around looking for substances. I got to eat or take or drink or inject something in order to feel better. No, the answer is you don't need to inject something to feel better. You need to have your energy. You need to have energy flowing to you, and that's what this ascension is. So what's going to happen is a removal of all of these blockages. The blockages are technological. The blockages are energetic. The blockages are consciousness. And then light actually enters and comes inside of you. And it's a transformative light. So you're not going to be the same person that you were before. So like, I'm trying to get across to you, although I recognize I still exist in this, socioeconomic cultural matrix, and people have bought my t-shirts, I'm transformed even from a little tiny blip to understand like we're not going to have that kind of economy. So don't worry, I'm going to fulfill your orders, but I understand like we're not going to have a world like that. You're not going to have a world where you buy something with some money and it comes to you in the mail. Like we're going to have a world. That's not what we're going to experience. We are instead going to experience a world where matter is created with your mind. You want a t-shirt, you make it with your mind. And that seems unimaginable or perhaps grandiose from this perspective, but when you get to that other perspective of just having a little bit of light feed you, that will seem totally normal. And the idea of ordering something off of the internet will seem completely just bizarre. Ines says, it is said there are only 1/7 of mankind, real humans on Earth right now. What do you say to this, Aurora? I would say that very few of the people who are here are naturally occurring consciousnesses. There are many people that are here who only exist as a combination of characteristics due to an intervention that has gone on technologically over many generations. So I'm not just talking about genetically modified people or synthetic replicants or clones. I'm talking about what goes back to ancient times, like even the genetic modification of the tribe of beings that became known as the Israelites and the Jews. That is in your human Bible. That is the story of genetic modification. And I have a whole teaching all about this. This is a group of wandering goat herders that lived out in the desert, got genetically modified by an extraterrestrial. A guy named Jehovah says, you guys can't hear me? Well, I'm going to turn your knobs and buttons internally so that you can hear me. I'm going to tell you I'm God. And I'm going to tell you to go over there and steal these tablets and do this crap to this other empire. I'm going to bring down that empire. Then I'm going to make you over here. I'm going to make you God's chosen people. I'm going to give you lots of energy and lots of technology, and I'm going to make you rise above other people. That is the story of the Bible. It's the story of technological alien intervention portraying itself as God, and it genetically modified some of the human beings on this earth. Okay, so this is not just about, and please don't ever mistake what I'm saying with some kind of eugenics. When I talk about the people who aren't supposed to exist, it's not one particular race. It's not one particular gender, and it's not a particular appearance. So it's not like you can say, let's get rid of all the people that are, whatever, under 5'5", or all the people that are over 7'2". Like, it's not that type of a characteristic. So there are people of every different appearance, every different skin color, every different gender, who are not real people, who are not actually supposed to exist. And I had to clarify that because I was talking about the genetic modification of the beings that came the Jews. So I could see that there could be a leap where people could say, we must wipe out all the Jews because those are all the fake people. Though those ain't all the fake people. There's fake people sprinkled throughout all of these different nationalities, or whatever you want to call it. It's people who would never have been in existence if not for the artificial bringing together of different energies that wouldn't have met otherwise, that wouldn't have interacted otherwise. There's been a ton of technological alien interference in human breeding programs, and that's been going on for ancient times. So there's all of that. And on top of that, in the past 100 years or so, there's been tons of cloning experimentation. And if you look around on TV and in media, you will see very, very many unreal people. And you guys know that at this point. That is not a surprise at all. So there are many, many unreal people. And the sad part, and the unreal people, like manufactured clones, replicants, things like that, the sad part is that in this world, the hyper-wealthy, a significant portion of them are unreal people, like they have been manufactured. They are not, so if you think in any way that you will get to be a billionaire, you will not. If you are an embodied human, you will not become a billionaire. This is not a meritocracy. Synthetic replicants are allowed to be billionaires because they're like hand puppets for a larger being that is acting through all of them. So I bring this back to Rick and Morty. There's Rick and Morty, whatever, truth, unity consciousness. There's a parasite called Unity that goes to a planet and just takes over everybody's mind. It's one being that acts through all these different minds. That's what we're talking to. That's what we're experiencing. All of these clones and replicants, they're like beep, 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 remote control robots being remote controlled by the same guy. And the guy's a psychopath. Fucking asshole. Eleanor says, we're with you, Aurora. Thank you very much. And Ines says, we understand you very well, Aurora. Believe me, there are more like you telling us the truth. People get ready to pull the veil away finally. That's it. That's it. I'm not a paternalistic alien. I'm a complete opposite. So it's paternalism. Paternalism says, oh, I'm the big daddy. I keep all of the money in my big fat wallet and I only dole out a little tiny bit to you. You just sit there. There, dear. What's maternalistic? Mama lasagna. What's maternal? What are maternal characteristics? Come to my house and I will feed you, and I'll fix the button on your shirt, and then I'll send you home with leftovers. That's maternal. Maternal is nurturing and, whatever, fixing. Yeah, I'm definitely maternalistic. Jeffrey says, I love you, Aurora. So much appreciation for you. Thank you. Thank you for that, Jeffrey. Thank you for the love. I love you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Pedro says, we are aspects of God. We are already connected, so there is no need to use intermediaries like saints, angels, or channelers. That is absolutely right. And I'm very happy that you included channelers. Like, I think that's one of the worst programs of the new age, which is definitely the new cage. The idea that some people in their ego state would set themselves up above others and say, I can listen to God better than you, and I'm going to channel this information for you. And they're all tainted with parasites. There's none of these people are uncompromised. I'm sorry. And the parasites literally seek out people that have these ego vulnerabilities to say, that guy feels terrible about himself. He wants to be special. I'll tell him that he's special and that I'm Jesus. And then I'm talking through him. Like, you got to be really, really strong as a warrior to not fall into these ego traps and feel good about yourself because you're an actual real good person. Not like, you don't need fake crap. Sharon says, last few days read The Law of One book. Really obvious that the interviewer thought Ra was lying. Interviewer Don seemed upset by my observation. Law of Ra is crapola. David Wilcock and all of his stuff is crapola. They're part of the alien con. So let's say that David Wilcock, Corey Good, Jordan Sather, they are sucking Pleiadian dick. Pardon my crudeness of language. They are getting paid by evil aliens. Evil aliens run the alien cons. And I say con, not conference. Intentional cons. They put people on the stage who are false. Say, Aurora, like, you're a real alien. How come you ain't on the stage? Because I am real. They do not want me on their stage. The two that I went to, I did not get paid for. They will not actually ever support me as a real alien. They only want to support these technological assholes. So now when you see these people that have a career at alien cons, they're being supported in their career by technological assholes, the same ones that are blocking out your ascension. These are not your friends. These are not your heroes, okay? These are highly compromised individuals, and I question their humanity. I question whether they are still human or whether they are so infested with mind parasites and lies that we can no longer even classify them as human. Again, not an excuse to do any kind of violence or swordplay or anything like that on anybody. These are my honest feelings about these people. Horrible, wormy maggots. And I literally can't believe that anybody exposes themselves to their information. Like, no, you're not going to get any valid information or insight from them. You will get infested with maggots yourself. Okay? Don't listen to their fucking crap. Oh, you know, it's really nice. 2 years after I've known about this and have spoken about this, people are finally starting to realize that Og Talez is a complete fraud and a dangerous fraud. And if you need to look into it, he caused some girl to go commit suicide. Okay? Like, this is horrible, horrible stuff of people who purport to be like, an Illuminati slave, I'm a MyLab project, I'm a this and a that. No, you know what they are? They are all completely infested with the mind parasite. The same evil asshole works through all of them. Not getting any information, not getting any insight from these people. You are just getting, I have dubbed it a heartless hand job, getting wanked off in the most disgusting way. Pedro says the brown dwarf star is a vampire star. Vampire star. It's flushed down the black hole. So the brown dwarf star or the failed star is a type of vampire star. That is a magnetic creature that is drawing energy from the sun as a light-emitting creature, or from various different star systems as a light-emitting creature. And none of this is appropriate at all. So the stars themselves have an immune system. Now show that brain again. Show the brain again. Has an immune system. This thing has done this 20 million times. Just like you did as a baby. You got a disease and you sneezed and coughed and your mama helped you. Got some elderberry syrup, you got them kicked out. Do I need to do the poop color again? Pathogens came in, you kicked them out. Pathogens came in, you kicked them out. This happened 20 million times. So this is actually not what is supposed to happen. You're actually not supposed to have pathogens come inside of you at all. If you have pathogens come inside of you once, what you should do is you should be like, hey, where did this pathogen come from? Oh, look, dot, dot, dot. I'm following the, hey, it came from this over here. Now it's time for you to unmake this thing over here because it's clearly not a thing that is supposed to be in existence. So no, you don't have to get a disease 20 million times. You're not becoming stronger by this. You're not building your immune system by this. You're being victimized 20 million times. And no divine being set this up with the intention of doing this. So this being over here has an immune system. And the immune system says, I don't have to be punched in the face 20 million times before I actually do something about this. So what the immune system does is it unmakes this. You don't get to be in existence anymore. You go to entropy and you stay there. That is what is happening. Ines says, what is the lesson out of this dwarf story? Not to be naive and be able to defend ourselves finally effectively. Yeah, the lesson is that not everything that you see is part of you. There's all these fake spiritual teachings that say everything you see is part of you. And if something is blah, 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 then it must be part of you. And so you have to blah, 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 and love it, blah, blah, blah. No, it's parasite. It's not part of you. And you know something? I had someone who's very mentally imbalanced write me a message on Messenger. And they were like, Aurora, like you talk all about this, not a person in this class, a person who didn't have it together. Because the people in this class have it together. She's like, Aurora, you talk about these parasites and rid of these parasites, but I think that I am my parasites. And I was like, there, dear, I'm sure you're not your parasites. Then I started to think, maybe she is her parasites. You know something? I think that I'm way too accommodating sometimes and thinking, oh no, I'm talking to someone. Maybe she is her parasites. Parasites in terms of identified with lower aspects of self that have not been healed. What do you identify with? Your worst aspects of self, your best aspects of self? Do I identify with the parasites in my body? No fucking way. I'm not my parasites, and they are not here to help me to learn and grow. They are not my healers. They siphon off energy and are the literal antithesis of healing and growth. You parasites are not here as helpful parasites to help you learn. No, they're here to feed. Okay, so a lot of the people that are here on Earth right now are parasites in the sense they are only here to feed. They are not here to learn or to grow in any way. And I think that you can recognize that pretty obviously. There's a lot of people who just want to eat out in restaurants. They don't care about where food comes. They don't care about what expense. They don't care about who's cleaning up afterwards. They just want to eat out in restaurants or have sex or buy stuff, buy shit online, go shopping. They just want to feed their appetites. There's a lot of people like that, as opposed to people who are actually creative, who actually are like, I want to make shit. I want to make a shirt. I want to paint a painting. I want to do something. I want to sing a song. There's a lot of people who can't do that. And all they can do is consume. Consumers. And of course, the NWO and all those globalist things, they want to create a world of consumers. They want to get rid of the people that actually have a spark and just create a world of mindless consumers. So the lesson of this failed star is that you should not share your nourishment with the failed personality characteristics that are not actually a part of you. That star did not become a star for a reason. It was a piece of crap. And I have to be harsh when I say this assessment. Piece of crap. Please do not feel bad for it, because we do not play crap music in the Stellar Network. We only play this really beautiful music. So it's a meritocracy. I keep saying that. Pedro says, oh, I get it. The same as a damaged DNA creates cancer, this damaged consciousness creates cooties. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good analogy. You're getting it. And you're getting why I do these lessons about cancer and things like that. Rainbow Vice is psychopathogens. I think that's a perfect word. Rainbow says, I drew FRL with shungite soap on my lower wall this weekend. Ah, very nice. Perfect. It is on. Yes, phone and solar array plus chemtrails, the exonet exoweb of mind control. We have to see this and break it with insight and organic integrity. Exactly. Very good, Ines. Ines says, but when here so many extraterrestrials running around and look like humans, they have, in my opinion, not the right or the option to ascend. They can simply go back in peace where they came from after all became obvious what they have done over centuries to humanity. Yeah, the right to ascend. Let's talk about that. If you're on this planet and you're invading poop, do you get to ascend? You're not supposed to be here. You're not technologically supposed to be here. You're supposed to be somewhere else. This ain't your party. This ain't your symphony. You're not actually here. You're not actually supposed to be part of this. That's a really good point to be made. There are a lot of beings that are here that are not supposed to be here. And I'm actually supposed to be here. So this is I know, they always try to turn around to me, well, how about you? I'm actually supposed to be here because what do I say all the time, guys? The flying rainbow lasagna does not come into conflict with any of the previously established truths, like in a math proof. I'm allowed to be here. They are not allowed to be here. We are qualitatively different. SJ is saying yay for the bucket club, so we're going to help you fry your nano. It'll be good. Sharon says, what is a med bed? Oh, it is a stupid thing that people think that is going to be healing. Like you get some kind of disease, you got some kind of cancer, get into like a magical glass sarcophagus, and they shoot magical healing rays over you, you come out and you don't have cancer, you don't have whatever. So all that is a crutch, because your technological trained mind says, I cannot imagine just healing rays from the sun healing me. So I have to imagine getting into an intermediary, get into an apparatus, and then the apparatus will heal me. No, you just, if you've got fucking cancer, you get exposed to the pure light of awareness of the sun, you can get healed. You don't have to get into a med bed. But if you have this technological mind program, then you think you have to have a med bed. And then you have the technological mind program because they made you have it, because they blocked out the sunlight, and then they will dole out the med bed to you. Do you think everybody's going to have one? Do you think you're going to have one in your bedroom, go in there every night? Or do you think it's only for the wealthy? Look, they tried to pull this yellow caution flags thing. Some of you will ascend and some of you will not and will live in a mediocre state. Huh? What does that mean? That is fucking bullshit. So they're going to dole out the med beds. Some of you will get free energy devices, some of you won't. Who will decide? Will it be a quantum computer run by the evil fucking aliens? Will the evil fucking alien say, oh, I'm sorry, the quantum computer says you're allowed to have this and you're not allowed to have this? And then it's just as stupid and fucking unfair as saying this gross, fat, billionaire asshole is allowed to have billions and you are allowed to have $20,000 a year and live at a very low level of experience and freedom in this place. They'll do the same exact fucking thing with a quantum computer or whatever is their latest version. It's just all bad magic. It's horrible. Richard says, looks like you're being played with the same old story. Good versus evil applies to the political theater. Will the good clones win out? What will win out is not the good clones, but instead the solar network, the sun and the stars, and that pure consciousness. It is much, much stronger than technology. So yeah, the clones will never release the paperwork. The clones will continue to string you along with more shiny hand puppets. So they will be, and you think that you're being a good democratic citizen, like a citizen of democracy, by educating yourself, by saying, I have to know what's going on. I have to read these news articles. I have to share the correct news articles and fight with people on the internet and tell them if they're wrong. No, none of that is going to work. No, and of course, no voting, no signing petitions. You don't want to get to a 2020 election, because if you're at that point, you are in the virtual reality fantasy land that the evil aliens have created. They're ready to just scoop you on up in there, where they're going to say, oh, we cleaned house and we got rid of those evil Democrats, and now you can all vote for the Republicans and have a big, huge victory. Woohoo! The Republicans have won! And then maybe there will be some trials that will go on, and then there will be 4 more years of President Trump's presidency, and then maybe you will get a free energy device, and Jordan Sather will tell you all about it on his YouTube channel. Like, that is the prison. You don't want those events to happen. That is the continual momentum, you carrying the continual momentum of what you were doing at the moment of death across the membrane of death, instead of transcending the membrane of death, getting into a better place. Rainbow Body says, they want to harvest us, but it's we who are ready to hit those fat, hungry hippos with our FRL sign. Very, very good. And also think about this. The thing that is most devastating to these beings is light. I've said many times that they don't run operating system love. They don't run OS love. They can't. That doesn't mean that they're not affected by the light. They create those shields so that the light of awareness doesn't affect them, because they actually are affected by it. So the very, very most devastating thing you can do is not send them to the light, but force them to be exposed to light. They're like, I hate that light. Stop telling me stuff that's truthful. Stop making me see truthful things about myself, because they protect themselves with lies. I'm a good person. I'm here to help the planet ascend. No, I'm an evil fucking asshole, and I'm here to eat you. You just got to make sure they get exposed to plenty of light, because they can't take it. If they're shielding themselves, it's because they can't take it. Do you get it? Light is devastating to them. They can't take it. So all they have to do is be exposed to a lot of light. Oh, very good, Rainbow Body, about at 5G. I would like for you to share that. That would be great. Miniman says, so everything is just about control. The company provides sock puppets exactly in 2 colors. To politicians exactly, and we get to pick the color, the same for the company, the end. Yeah. So here's another thing. I just got to share a little bit more insight into the political rock'em sock'em robots. This is very much like any kind of spy thriller movie or whatever, where you could just sit back and like let it flow over you and it doesn't all make sense, doesn't all hang together, or you can like look for the plot points. And I'm always one of those people that you hate watching a movie with me because I always look for the plot points. Like even Nanny McPhee, I'm like, that guy could have gotten a different alternative source of income. He didn't have to do this. And my friend is like, just watch the movie and let it flow over you. But with the QAnon stuff, I've been watching the whole thing. I've been following all of the ins and outs of the spy thriller. I know about George Papadopoulos. I know about George Webb. I know about the server. I know about the hammer. It's like I've been watching the whole show, and the show is absolutely puppets to distract us. And the reason why it's interesting is because we think in the mundane reality that they will eventually get somewhere with this, that there will actually be a release of information causing some actual adjudication or some actual transformative event in the supposedly power levels of Washington. But it became very clear to me that that event will never happen, that they will never actually allow that event to happen. The writers of the script are continually writing an episode just to keep you going, that paperwork's going to come out next month and it'll be devastating. Just keep the faith and make those memes. Like, they only want to keep you going so that, remember I said they're blocking out time. It's time dilation. The energy moving here within our little time bubble is moving really, really slow relative to everything else. So imagine that's like a train getting further and further and further away. The Ascension train gets further and further away. Every day that you wait for the visa drop, every day that you wait for a D-class, every day that you wait to read QAnon's new suck on wank off, whatever. I'm trying to think of like the dirtiest language I can. Like, QAnon is worse than pornography. It is like horrible. It is a horrible exploitation of you and your energy of belief. And everybody is ready for the next fraudulent board to start tomorrow or today. And something happened on the 17th, so it must be QAnon's for today. That is disgusting. It is fucking disgusting that is being done to you, while real energy, real intelligence, real awareness is blocked away from you. And I'm here to tell you that is going on. You should be mad as hell. You should say that this is total fucking bullshit. And you should, first of all, withdraw your energy completely from the expectation that government is going to police itself and that anything will be adjudicated. The best thing you can hope for is heads exploding. Like, may waves of energy flow through Washington, may heads explode. That would be good, okay? Like, really, seriously, guys. I'm thinking of the movie, like, Mars Attacks. Put on that song. What's that song? Put on the Indian Love Call. I've got Indian Love Call. Here, hold on a second. I'll fiddle with things. I hope I don't have a copyright issue with this. And here, at the end of Mars Attacks, they put on this song, everybody's heads explode. You know, I think I would like that for the end of the movie. Forget about all this, everything that's taken so long. Here we go. May their heads explode. Forget about all these trials and taking so long. We got to get to the Ascension. Just play this song loud enough and their heads will explode, and then we won't have to have all these pesky occupiers in government anymore. All right, I'll stop the music.
I'm calling you.
All right, heads are exploding even as we speak. Ines says, your word of Ascension bus reminds me of a dream I had last weekend. Essence was, I have to run the direction of the bus and control the route myself permanently and not allow others, quote unquote, to be so nice, quote unquote, and take the lead to make it, quote unquote, easy. Afterwards, I had eye itching like Sandy. Very, very interesting. And I'm happy that you're getting a dream like that from your higher self that is basically giving you really good guidance and really good information. Lisa says, yeah, last night she noticed clouds that were covering the moon. Carlos is not feeling anything here in Tennessee. Interesting. Eleanor says, would FRLing with these races contribute to the good? Would one open themselves to more hooking in and vulnerabilities? Best to just FRL with beings and consciousness one would love interacting with. Do not FRL with parasites. They're parasites. You don't have to give them energy. They would love to get energy from you. I've had parasites. I've had them live in my house. They love to get energy from you. You don't have to give energy to parasites. They're aberrations that are not actually supposed to exist. So do your FRLing with people who deserve it. Give your energy to beings that are deserving of it. Because I think you're asking, well, if we need to send light to something, what are we talking about here? Like the devastating light of truth. So that's different than FRLing with something. When I'm FRLing, I'm dancing. If poop comes along, I'm like, poop, get away. You're not part of this painting, okay? In my daily practice, I'm walking around and things like that, and I get assaulted all the time by whatever mind creatures. Those are the creatures I stab with light. So I've taught you guys all about Merkaba. Merkaba is like a shield, and I've been very responsible in the way that I've taught you about tussling, energetic tussling. You know, I'm like a mom, and I don't want the kids to, roll around on the floor and somebody's eye gonna get poked out. I don't want that to happen. It's all fun and games. I wanted to keep you safe from tussling. Not that I'm like one of these paternalistic aliens, much different than that, But it's apparent to me you're going to tussle anyway. So you don't just get to have a shield. You don't just get to only fight a defensive war. You also get to have a sword. So your shield is your Merkaba that you keep things out from, but you also get to have a sword, which is a probe that you stick things into. And I usually call it your attention. I usually call it, say, attenuate, you reach out, but that can just as much be a sword. That is a probe that you can reach something into something that is not supposed to be there. Be like, have some light. And not in a light worker's way, not like a I love you way, but in a devastating way. Here, have the light of truth where you find out that you are a complete piece of shit. You're not supposed to be in existence, and you're definitely not supposed to be talking to me. Have some light. That. And it's coherent light too. Coherent light is laser light. It's very focused. Give them some focused laser light. You're allowed to do that. And I'm telling you this, like, you know, because I told you, like, I don't want you to, kids don't fight. Kids don't fight. But if you're going to fight, let's fight safe. Let's teach you how. Okay? Good. Carla says, can we FRL together now, go back in time and Clorox them? Yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what we on the stars are all doing. We are all cleaning up the entire timeline, the entire time field, but we don't have to deal with this fucking bullshit anymore. And Richard says, are there any special books you've read that will supplement your work and our consciousness evolution? No, I have not received any of the information that I'm giving to you from books, and I'm not aware of anyone who's not compromised. I am, however, aware of many, many, many people who are compromised and have publishing deals. So asking for someone who has any amount of information to have a publishing deal is totally backwards. The people who have publishing deals are the people who suck Pleiadian dick. They ain't going to tell you the truth. Okay, so when you go to a New Age bookstore, the books, unless it was self-published, unless somebody wrote a little PDF and spiral bound it and stuck it on the, if it's published and promoted by a publishing company, you will not receive truth at all. Okay, just wrap your minds around that. Every single thing that you're being fed officially is a lie. Every single official food is poop. It is not actual truth. Getting totally fucked in the worst way. None of it is truthful. Lisa says, I think it's all connected with CERN and some other technology, proton beam pulsar, HARP, all aligned to harvest energy and mind control, lockdown humanity. Those are certainly aspects of it. But the thing, like you think, like if you can get away from something, like, you know, you can get away from electric lights, and you can get away from electricity, and you can get away from a Wi-Fi signal, but you can't get away from the solar simulator. Like, it's in the sky. And even if they turn off the entire power grid on Earth, you've still got the mind control from the sky, which is why that is not an ideal solution. Just say, like, oh, sabotage all electricity everywhere and we'll all live in the dark and then we'll all be free. No, you still have the fucking sun array sky simulator keeping everybody down. That's why that is not a good timeline to be on. Richard says, I have been feeling very tired and fatigued even though I'm healthy and exercise. Is this a sign of my consciousness being harvested? Does the harvesting take place continually or mainly while we sleep? There's a couple of things going on. If you have parasites, when the energy of this ascension is coming to you, you might feel tired because your parasites are taking your energy away from you. So you got to get rid of your parasites. And sometimes the energy came to me and I felt tired and I felt like I had to lie down and be healed, but only go with light healing. Do not go with any personified healer that comes to you and says, I'm Buddha, I'm Jesus, I'm whomever, I'm a Reiki master, I'm going to heal you. Say, no one who has a face and arms and legs should heal you. Okay? Only pure abstract light. So I cannot diagnose your issues of fatigue. I certainly have felt fatigue. Most of the fatigue, I think, is because I was talking to these fucking bullshitters, not actual real ascension. And I think when real ascension is happening, you don't feel fatigue, you feel energy. You feel total energy. Because once I'm like, this is fake fucking bullshit ascension, I was actually going to lie down to take a nap. But all of a sudden I'm like, no, I'm actually going to paint a painting instead. Like, all of my energy came back. So yeah, I think the fatigue is happening because we have parasites, not because it's just like, oh, I'm just so tired. I think ascension should make you feel energized, not tired. There's no reason why you should feel tired because someone is giving you energy. It shouldn't be that way. Eleanor says, it seems from what you are saying is, number one, forget listening to YouTube politics, which keeps us focused on something outside ourselves will change the world. Not happening. Exactly. And Eleanor says the last thing is dance. That is exactly right. And so for me, in my journey over the past couple of weeks, as these waves have been coming in and intensifying, sometimes I felt a little bit guilty. Like, you know, something I know that I should be paying attention to political stuff, but it feels so incredibly fucking boring to me. I just can't do this anymore. Like, I've been fighting the battle a lot. You guys follow my Twitter or whatever, know what I'm talking about. And pardon me. I'm hungry and my belly is telling me that. Yes. I followed along because I felt that it was my responsibility as a mundane embodied human, as I'm also a star being, I'm a mundane embodied human, buy the toilet paper, to focus on these things. And I felt somewhat irresponsible politically if I didn't focus on them. And share the articles with my friends and make a proper comment and thumbs up, like the videos, share them, like and share. Because I felt like that's what we do in order to fight with this information warfare. But at this point, it seems so boring and irrelevant to me that I think my best, not weapon, but my best approach is to just fucking dance. Like, no, I can read all these articles. They are always going to be posturing. They're always going to be bullshitting. It's a political pissing contest that never ends. And this is not the same political pissing contest of like previous eras, previous generations. This is not the same. Let go of that expectation too. You don't live in a normal time anymore. Think of it like this, like you've already died. Everybody on the planet has already died. There's already been a giant, whatever, nuclear catastrophe. There's already been a solar flash. Everybody is dead. Stop acting like everything is normal. You know, fake planes fly overhead in the sky. They're so obvious to me every day. And I look at them and I'm like, those are flying in the sky every day, and everybody walks around ignoring them and pretending life is normal and paying their rent. And now I realize it's because, I mean, I was perhaps unduly critical of humans, but yeah, because you got a mind control ray that you can't actually even notice that they're fake planes. And Mr. BBB333 on YouTube has a whole hour's compilation. You want to watch a video compilation, get your popcorn and look at all the viewer images that everybody sends in from around the world of all the fake fucking planes in the sky. Triangle planes, cube-shaped clouds, fucking obvious clank metal spaceships are flying over your fucking heads every day. And you act like it's normal, not you in this class, but humanity's acting like it's normal, doing fucking nothing. And they think it's time to vote in the next election. And everyone who's like, we're gonna like really campaign for Trump because he's gonna really help us. Like, no, you're being harvested into a horrible alternate dimension that is worse than death. I would actually not wish that on my worst enemy. I would wish for my worst enemy, just like, okay, just like, be done. You know, not like, oh, why don't you live for 80 more years in a prison of your mind? That's not good. You know something? If you had the option, like let's say you had some terrible disease, you have the option of either like dying a natural death, or you can have your mind uploaded into a virtual reality. This is Black Mirror. It's an episode called San Junipero. No, I would not recommend that you extend your life artificially in a mental fantasy land so that you can walk on a beach because your legs are working properly. No, that's not freedom. That's a horrible cage. It's a grotesquerie. And that is what they're offering to you. I think it would be way better to just die. And so back to more positive things, what to do in light of all this. No, yeah, focusing endlessly, because your consciousness is powerful. So think about this. Logical conclusions, as I'm wrapping this up. Logical conclusions. Your magnetic emissions are incredibly powerful. Your DNA, powerful. Your dance, powerful. Your consciousness, powerful. What you focus your attention on, powerful. Because what they try to do is diminish your dance, take down your energy, make you distracted by stupid things in politics and YouTube. And instead, what we need to do is cultivate our energy, get faster, dance like a flying rainbow lasagna, move into a higher dimensional energy state. And all these things that I say might seem like, oh, Aurora is like such a fantasist. She's talking about things that aren't even real. This is the only real thing to do at this point. The other options are you can die or you can go into a virtual reality fantasy land and live as a prisoner for a very long time. Very disgusting and gross. So yes, the logical conclusion is to dance. Lisa says, agreed about religion. Montague Keen, who's a British scientist whose wife channeled him, talked about Nicene Council creating religions and dogma to just control everyone. Yeah, that's very truthful. Pedro says, is sun gazing a form of praying? I would say sun gazing it's definitely a rapport with the sun. It is a form of praying, but not a requisitional prayer. Mostly humans are used to, I need to requisition something from you, like sending God a list. Like, God, I really need this, 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 and this. Can you do this for me? Like, it's too much for me. Can you do this? And sun gazing with the sun is eating the sun and becoming the sun. And it's very different than saying to the sun, can you please give me this? Or can you give this to this person over here who's sick or who needs to go fund me or whatever? It is different than that. It is becoming one with the sun. And then from that, state of powerfulness, you can certainly affect reality for people that need to have reality fixed, but it is not a supplication or a request form. Richard says, thank you for a very helpful presentation. Most enjoyable. Thank you very much. Thank you, Richard, for your intelligence and your participation here. Eleanor says, I see aberrant personality characteristics within this me-body-mind interface. Could it be that I, quote unquote, am not a real, true embodied spirit? I would be happy for all the crap within to be exposed to pure light and dissolve instantaneously, and whatever remains go where it needs to go. No attachment to this. Yeah, I cannot say your truth for you. And that's, I think, the reason why we are each here having this experience, that each one of us needs to experience what it feels like when that light of truth just completely illuminates you. So I cannot answer your question. I cannot dictate to you. I send you good wishes on your own journey, that you will learn everything you need to learn about yourself in order to be free. Like if a being is not real, if a being, let's say you get the light turns on, the spotlight is on, and you start to read yourself and you write it like, I ain't real, then you ain't real. That's fine. Don't take it from me. Take it from your own self, from your own inner, experience. Or if you read yourself and you're like, 69% of myself isn't even really me. This is only the real stuff over here. That's it. That's what the light of awareness is telling you. That's what the light of truth is telling you. I am not dictating that to you. And then, of course, it is your own choice about how you respond to that. Like if you're like, but that 69% is my favorite part of myself. Like, I don't want to get rid of that self. Like, I hug that self. It's like, no, that's your choice. That would definitely weigh you down if you did that. But if you're like, yeah, like Eleanor is saying, like willing to let go of unhealthy or unreal personality characteristics, I think that would be a benevolent choice, a good choice. But again, it's your life is your own personal art project. I love you too, Rainbow. Thank you for being in the class. Marie says, oh my God, so glad you said that about Ogteles. I tried to listen to his videos and they didn't resonate with me at all. Had so-called friends that told me to keep listening. It would make sense when I was enlightened enough. Yes, yeah, exactly. It's just that his name gives him away. Ogteles, exactly, and how I read it. No longer affiliated with those friends. They're full of parasites. Yeah, the more that you listen to Ogteles, the more that you get full of parasites. He is like, if you saw him energetically, you would just see crawling with maggots. Crawling with maggots. Totally gross and disgusting. And there's no reason in the world that you would want to ingest mind energy from something that is crawling with maggots, and you would only get maggots from that. So really stay away. Oh, there's so many messages. Eleanor says, my question was supposed to be here, going back to all the genetic encounters that weren't supposed to take place. Yeah, some people are the end result of many genetic encounters that were not supposed to take place. So some people are not supposed to be here, like on many levels. I think you've got that right. Pedro says, med bed, like in the movie Elysium. I haven't seen it, but I think you're spot on, like a science fiction movie, whatever. I don't know if they have that in Star Trek or whatever. Susan says, you're on fire today. Love it. I've gotten so much out of today's lesson. Thank you. And also, like, I have to tell you guys, as this experience has been unfolding, when I had these experiences over the weekend, I thought to myself, I would like to share this as a cautionary tale with other people if we are still in this state, if we are still able to have these conversations, if this is still this. So each week I'm like, okay, I'm just taking it as it comes. I don't know what the next day will bring, because truthfully, the birth contractions have come so close together. We're already supposed to be born. We're supposed to be born already, guys. We're not supposed to be here counting how much amniotic fluid we will have next week. Not supposed to be doing that. Okay, so I don't know what next week will bring. Oh, someone is offering me lessons on how to curse as a sailor. Thank you. Ines says, Aurora, how you send the light to those putis from your heart and mind? I do it with my 10 rule of awareness, which can also be like a sword. But I haven't been emphasizing that here in this class. I've been emphasizing it more as like a sensory organ to touch on things. That was appropriate for that level of development. But you can also use it like a sword to reach into people to fight. But please also use your shield and also, learn how to fight effectively. I don't want you to say, Aurora said I can fight, and then like get your ass kicked. You're a white belt, fight with white belts. And I want to teach you so much on how to fight. But I also really want to be ethical. Sharon says, Aurora, I love the energy of your truth. I will be getting rid of a lot of channel books. I'm happy to hear that. And you know something? It's a whole industry. The reason why those people exist, the channelers and the alien con and all of it, because they all got to make money. They're all vending stuff. They all just care about selling shit. They really don't care about nothing. People write books about Bigfoot that have no idea about anything about Bigfoot. They just got to make money. People are just parasites that got to feed their appetite. Just want to eat out at restaurants. That's it. Seriously. David Wilcock just wants to eat out at restaurants. He literally doesn't care about you guys. And sold his soul to the fucking devil. So I hope he enjoyed his restaurants, because he ain't going to be in heaven or a higher dimensional reality, whatever. Yeah, Jackie is saying, you got it, girl, or guy. because we've moved on from information warfare to energetic warfare. That's exactly right. So what I've been teaching in the past is like, I'm a good teacher, and this, and this is this, and this is the way that the world is shaped and everything. And I haven't been teaching you, you can actually weaponize this part of your body. You can actually do this and that. Like I'm trying to teach everyone in the class, like how to, I don't want you to take your flute and like hit someone else on the head with it in the band, but like you can do that if you have to. So now you're like, why did I choose a piccolo? Like I want a tuba, like get a big heavy instrument if you're gonna like clank someone with it. All the channel books, a lot of the channel books and the videos and all that stuff. Like at a certain point, you'll have your own vision. You'll just see it. You'll see it's all proof. Angel says, why not perform Reiki healing, pranic healing, or other forms of healing where the energy comes from prana or from source? I would say that if it is pure energy and there is no intermediary, then it is a good use of energy. But as soon as there becomes any kind of intermediary, questionable. So if it's like, this energy has to flow through an extensive network of Reiki masters before it gets to me, it could happen. Any kind of thing. If it has to come from your guru or from some Hindu god or a deity or any kind of thing like that, it's all a story. Where does the energy come from? It comes from the divine. It comes directly from the stellar network, and it doesn't have to go through something to get to you. So as long as your healing practice does not include the necessitation of an intermediary, anything that you got to subject yourself to, anything that can say yes or no. Shall I let the energy flow? I don't know, yes or no. Am I feeling flowy today or not? I'm a Reiki master. Am I feeling flowy today? No, no flow for you. Or a pranic master or whatever. Like it can't be something arbitrary or capricious. It's just got to work. It's got to do its thing. Ines says, now, when we do not see the sun during the day, can we do it mentally inside the rooms or do we sit outside? I do sun gazing a lot at night, and I've been doing a lot of this insight and interconnection at night. So it's interesting. I've experienced a lot of healing, and I don't need to take THC as a sedative to sleep at night. I sleep much better, and I have vivid dreams, and I also am able to connect in insight with the sun at night. And I think maybe the solar simulator is less active at that time. So I'm finding that it's very effective to do that type of connection at night. And Ines says, have you heard about the earlier strong humans who were once sword fighters against these extraterrestrial cooties called Klingsor? Arthur's saga, they were in a similar situation as we now many centuries ago. I've not heard of this, but I'm happy if there is a benevolent myth that is inspiring, that is helping people to think of themselves. You and we are all the heroes. We are the nobles that have been incarnated into these rather humble existences. And we are not billionaires. No one who's watching my class today is a billionaire. None of us are these fancy folks flying in helicopters, having catered meals. I mean, I think most of us wash our own dishes and go to the grocery store and try to afford the best food we possibly can in this benighted time. We are different than these horrible, evil assholes. And if you think that they're going to set up some kind of a wonderful society, if you think you're going to be at the top of that society, please think again. They ain't going to put any of you guys at that top of the society. Do you understand? Like, think about this, all right? President Trump and Melania are forming an elegant dinner party for the diplomats from Australia. Like, well, you're getting bombed with chemtrails and vaccinated to death, but they're going to make sure that the table linens really match the decor and really make sure that that diplomat is like, these are fucking assholes with ball gowns that do not care at all about the difficulties that we face as actual embodied humans. We will have a different level of experience after this transformative experience, but they're never going to put you at the top. They're never going to invite you to the ball. You will not be wearing a tuxedo or a ball gown with President Trump or any of these rich, fat asses, okay? So if the Arcturians take over, they say, we are the wonderful, benevolent space races, we're going to take over. Do you think they're going to give any of you guys ball gowns? No, they are not. They're going to give ball gowns to their friends. They're going to give ball gowns to people like David Wilcock, who wants to eat out at restaurants. Okay, not people of good integrity. They're never going to put you at the top of the pyramid. All right. It's going to be a very long upload. I'm sure that there are some more questions and comments. I'm going to say thank you to everybody who watched this, and you can tell I'm very tired at this point. And also, I don't know what's going to happen, what events will bring or whatever, but I definitely am appreciative of the good people that I've been with on this journey, like people who have not lost their integrity, who maintained their mental clarity, who maintained their humanity and their own inner divinity, who didn't, for lack of a better word, suck Satan's dick. That's basically getting money by compromising yourself for a bunch of technological using asshole aliens. All right? I love and respect you. I'm happy that you are in existence and I've been connected to you. So thank you for today.